All right, and we're live. I think something came out on. I think something just came out. Curious to see what that was. What is this? Please. Lord of the Mysteries, the fragrance of the rice dumplings wafts through the air, and the pendulum spins. Animation reservation? What is this? Okay, I can't open it. Okay, never mind. Username, how's it going, man? How you doing? Okay. I'll move that back to the side. It's just to follow the... Oh, like subbing to a channel? Oh, I see. Gilgamesh, how's it going, man? How you doing? Just saying, yes, I will watch. Oh, I see. Okay. Will you be watching the stream? Or is that dependent on if, Devil is here? Okay. So... CH... Okay. So... O-D-I... Okay, so there's an O for sure. So what? I blocked him, so I don't know, since he's a mod. I don't know if the bot works. Oh, okay. Well, we'll see. That's actually a good question. I don't actually know either if a block overrides a mod or if a mod overrides a block. Interesting. So something di x. Okay. So what does that look like? In my mind, in order for it to come before, because mods need to be seen, so I don't think it'll work. Interesting. I wonder if that would work if I... Interesting. Okay. Okay, so it needs to, in my mind, it needs to be a vowel to come before a D. So I-D-I... A-D-I... A-D-I... Oh. Oh. Wait, what? Oh, come on. Idiom. Okay. Whew. Okay, I thought I had that for sure with... oh. I thought the fact that I got here and I didn't get idiot was like the perfect metaphor for me being a moron. Oh, that was so stupid. I should have realized that New York Times wouldn't have chosen idiot. That's stupid. Actually, let me get this set up and before we get started. 493. Try links. Oh yes, you did tell me this. Let's do this. I'm not sure if I can even figure links. Actually, give me 1 second. I'm gonna turn on my fan. Let me know if you guys can hear it. If you guys can, I'll turn it off. But fuck, it is so hot in my room right now. So give me 1 second. Okay. Nope. Shut the fuck up. Okay. Try. It's a bit annoying sometimes what it counts, but I still like it. Okay. Okay. Yeah. No worries. I can get. I'm ready. I'm happy to give anything a try. Okay. There are enough word games out there to teach you how to spell. Lexicon is a game that teaches you what words mean. Your goal is to connect two random words by creating a chain of words. By creating a chain of new words that bridges the gap in their meanings. For example, the words link and lexicon don't have much in common, but you can bridge the gap between them as follows. Oh, I see. So I have to find the only one pair of words to connect per day, but you can practice as much as you'd like. The game would... Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. So I have to find a path. Oh, okay. So there are... Path. Way. Okay. Pathway. Direction. Okay. Manner. Okay. Path. Direction. Efficient. Path. Direction. Manner. Path, direction, weight, manner. Efficient use. That's okay. That makes sense. This is rough. This is rough. Hold on. Okay. Path, direction. No. Hold on. Let him cook. Oh, no. Okay, that leads. Magnet? Magnet. Polar. Fuck, no. Magnet has different poles. Okay. Okay, how do I bridge the gap between magnet and efficient? Magnet. Automatic. What? I would have thought automatic would be on the side of efficient. Okay. Effectively efficient. Ooh. Ready. No. Quick. Fast. Okay, so fast is good. Fast magnet. Okay, we were thinking the same thing. Username. Effectively, efficient, fast. Car? Fast car. Good. Motor. Engine. Motor. No. Okay, yeah, that's what I figured. What the fuck? Okay. What do I feel like magnet is getting further and further away from where I am? Hold on. Okay, literally, efficient. You understand what I meant sometimes. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. As much as I know you dislike them, Devil would be good at this stuff. Devil is generally pretty good at daily games. Oh, good lord. Effectively efficient. Hold on. Yeah, he's good at using words, especially to erase. System. I would have thought like efficient and system would be like here. What the fuck? Coherent. Okay, never mind. Don't let me cook. I'm cooking fucking nothing, bro. Efficient. What do I think? Okay, think efficient. What is something that's really electricity? Clock? Mechanical. No. Oh god. We're just making a web. Okay. Okay, it is 10:30. Let me get started reading. If I'm gonna keep this in the back of my mind as I think of different stuff. I will come back to it. I'm hoping maybe as I read, more words will come to my mind, and then I can use those to you know, sort of think about my manner. Think about like how I want to play this better, rather. Sometimes you get it in one word. Sometimes it's like this. Jesus Christ. Okay, I don't think I'm ever gonna get it in one word. But this is cool. Yeah, I don't actually mind this. I'm happy to play this with Wordle as well. This is cool. Thanks for introducing me. Mate, are you in the same trade? I thought you knew. I can tell. Everybody switched. Have I read this? Oh, yes, I have. Okay, dope. No, why are you like this? Yes. Okay, yes. Okay, this is the right time. Okay, this is the right place. 490. Where am I? Okay, dope. Let's get started. Okay, cool. Honorable Eridas, my second question is, how did Sherlock Moriarty escape from the ruins? The surface of the mirror shimmered, rapidly outlining Sherlock leaning his back against the wall, his fists clenching and tightening. Then Sir Bernard and the surrounding hive mind deacons and captains saw the detective's exaggerated smile before turning around and dashing out with a gun drawn. At this moment, under the influence of the composed scene, they all felt an inexplicable sense of sadness and excitement. The image in the mirror jumped, revealing Sherlock wielding a revolver as he shot at the altar to no avail. The scenes of those disintegrating bullets caused everyone to be a little worried. Greetings, Justin. How's it going, man? How you doing? Then Sherlock threw out a brass key, and the altar showed signs of instability due to corruption. With the erupting air blast, Mr. A fell to the ground, and Sherlock pathetically fled out of the temple building. At this point, the image cleared up to have the slightly turbid Tussock River as the main background. Sherlock and Mr. A floated in the water, looking up to the sky where there was almost no clouds or fog. Almost instantly, Mr. A became transparent and disappeared, leaving only Sherlock looking around in astonishment. The Evernight Church's reinforcements, Eckensor said. Unfortunately, he didn't mention what appeared in his letter. We have no way of guessing. Was he trying to sell the secret for a good price, or was he simply affected by it and lost the relevant memories? Also, his experience of escaping the underground ruins don't show anything. It seems like the corresponding clues have been concealed at the same time. He analyzed it quickly in a procedural sentence, and then without too great a psychological burden, he chose to answer with reciprocity instead of taking a risk. Interesting. Okay, so Eridas hided. Good lord. Okay, those drinks are doing more than I expected. Hi, Dr. Z. How you doing? So Eridas seems to have hidden Klein's true power. It didn't show the fact that he could transform, or change how he looks. It didn't show that. It also didn't show the angel. As for why it didn't show the angel, that can also be as a favor to Klein, but that seems unlikely. It seems much more likely that Eridas was unable to show the at least it seems more likely to me that Eridus, for whatever reason, was unable to show the angel. But that'd be weird. Eridus has shown a demigod before, although I understand there's a difference between a demigod and an angel, so... Sound, how's it going, man? She is an angel. Eridus is only a grade 2. Yeah, exactly, yeah. So, okay, that was... Yeah, that's where I was getting... Yeah. He analyzed it quickly in procedural sentences, and then without too great a risk, psychological burden, he chose to answer with reciprocity instead of taking a risk. Ooh, how's everyone doing this fine morning or night for wherever you guys are? Eridus doesn't seem to be in the mood to be a prankster today. I can make the most of it. In a self-consolation, Ikenzer saw bloody words appear on the surface of the mirror. That's interesting. Okay, so Eridus seems to be more like a person than a... Are you fucking kidding me? Come on, please. Eridus seems to be more like a person than a thing. Like this sentence, Eridus doesn't seem to be in a mood to be a prankster today, means it has moods that can vary from day to day. That doesn't seem like a thing. I guess it can be a thing, but it'd have to be a thing with like an incredible level of consciousness. It seems more like a person, or I don't know if person is the right word. Fuck, Justin, no I didn't. Oh, kill me. Okay, you know what? I'm setting a reminder. I keep forgetting to do this. In fairness, I was sick today, so even if I did remember, I probably wouldn't have done it. But I didn't remember, which is a problem. Okay. Add Emlyn to GIF. Okay. You know what, fuck it. I will just do it at the end of stream instead of just because I want to have it in place for tomorrow's morning stream. I will probably be, let's say like 1. Let's say 1. Fuck it. Okay. Sorry. Thank you for reminding me. No, I will do that. Okay, though. Promise. So it seems more like, I don't know if I want to say a person, but Eridus is more than a thing. Yeah, it's alive. Yes, that's a good way to put it, username. You were sick and you thought it sounded like a good idea to indulge in. You know what, Dr. Z? I'm, as the colloquial frame goes, I'm built different, okay? Alcohol is a part of me, okay? I just feel better with it. It's fine. Ikenzer saw bloody words appear on the surface of the mirror. With a skip of his heartbeat, he had like my throat feels so much better. I mean, whether it feels so much better or I don't feel the pain, I don't know the difference. But I'm up for the stream right now. I was totally unable to stream this morning. So, correlation? It's always a good idea. Thank you, Justin. My go. Yes, thank you. With the skip of his heartbeat, he had a bad premonition, suspecting Eridus had already recovered to his usual state. His. Why does he say his and not it? Although it did say it earlier, so it might just be a mistranslation. The words appeared. Who was the person you gave your all to while trying your best to win the favor of, only to end up being abandoned? Have I fucking heard? I feel like he's asked this question before. If I mention who... the question pierced a deep wound in him while leaving him at a loss as what to do. If I mention who he is, then his reputation would be ruined before tonight. I've already become a legend, in some sense. Ikenzer swallowed his saliva with great difficulty and bitterly said, I choose punishment. If I mention who he is Ikenzer gay? I mean, I don't mean for that to come out in a pejorative sense. I'm literally just asking. It's his, her at the same time with... Wait, are you saying in Mandarin there's no pronouns? Like all pronouns are the same? Man is gonna wake up with his throat being demolished tomorrow. No, Roselle. No, Roselle. Liquor giving you too much confidence? No such thing, Sound. No such thing. Maze, I don't think I've seen you here before. Thanks for popping by. How you doing? They do, but there's one that allows for all defects. Oh, I see. That's cool. So effectively like a gender neutral... Wiz, you found out when he was gay the first or second time you met him? Oh, yes. Ikenzer is gay. Yes, never mind. You're right. Oh, yes. Okay, I have heard this before. Never mind. Sorry. You know what? Think about how greatly it speaks to me, okay? I saw him as a person first. Okay, maybe that's a little too on the nose, but you guys get what I mean. See, you're not built different. I'm not even gonna try correct on your name. Did I say your name wrong? I thought Maze would be like a great pronunciation for it. Okay, I apologize. He did. A bolt of lightning immediately descended. However, it was different from before. It was no longer silvery white and had been dyed with a slight green. In what fucking sense is lightning green? What the fuck? It hit him right on the head, causing his hair to stand on end and flash with the color of lightning. He shook violently like a shaking dice, as though he had been drugged with a hallucinogenic drug. Haramic sighed, closed his eyes, and muttered to himself, "A grade 0 sealed artifact? Anyway, I should go. Have a great day." Okay, yeah. Bye, Dr. Z. Thanks for popping by. Hopefully I'll see you in the morning. Oh, wait, no, this was your weekend. It's, your weekend is over, now that I think about it. When Ikenzer recovered, he looked around and said, "There's one more question. Where did the key that Sherlock Moriarty used to destroy the ritual come from? Which one of you is going to use 211? All the hive mind deacons and captains looked at each other. For a moment, no one responded. Does Farsi even have gender? I'm sure Farsi does. There's no shot it does. I feel like most languages have a gender, but they also have a way to... I can't think of a better way to phrase it, but like get around it. Also like have a gender neutral term for most things. But like most languages... Goodbye, Charizard. The sound of water splashing against the ship's hold seems to be the only sound left in the world. The sea at night was both noisy and quiet. Klein suddenly woke up and opened his eyes. He saw the wooden ceiling covered with a crimson moon veil. His spiritual intuition told him that something was happening outside. Is someone having a rendezvous? He tilted his head to listen, vaguely able to hear some unnatural sounds. He sat up, put on his gloves, and put on his coat. His eyes turned dark as he looked at the gold coin and flipped it, and quickly performed divination. After receiving no revelations of danger, he took out the revolver under his pillow and put it into his pocket. I love how Klein is like, he senses there's no danger, and then he puts his revolver in his pocket. Like, bro, just said there was no danger. After making the appropriate preparations, Klein opened the door and walked out of the room, following the sound to the upper deck. But the most accurate is gonna be... Okay, I will do that. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong thing. Okay, sorry. Would it be Maisha? Is that better? After making the appropriate preparations, Klein opened the door and walked out of the room, following the sound to the upper deck. At this... Nailed! Hey, look at that, we got there. At this moment, at sea, away from the industrial pollution, the crimson moon quietly hung there, mysterious and dreamy. After carefully passing by a few patrolling members, Klein arrived at the area where there was no commotion. He could smell the faint scent of blood. With the help of the moonlight, he looked over and saw the former adventurer, Cleves, squatting to the side of the ship, setting up something. Thanks for popping by, Marja. How you doing? There were 3 people hiding in the shadows of the cabin, about a dozen meters away from this gentleman. One of them was a companion of Cleves, a female bodyguard in a black coat. The remaining 2 were the children of their employer, a girl of 14 or 15, and a young gentleman of no more than 10 years of age. I mean, Mandarin isn't a gendered language, aside from the... I thought I'd heard Farsi is similar to that. Oh, okay. I might be wrong. I don't have any particular knowledge on either of those languages. So I could very well just be missing knowledge on that. It's very possible. I'm much more of a math brain than a language brain, so I don't. Language is not my strongest point. The 2 youngsters wore thick cotton nightgowns and outer coats. It was obvious they had come out in a hurry. They trembled amidst the chilling night wind, and they squatted there full of energy and vigor, looking at Cleves with their bright eyes. Playing hide and seek? Klein joked. Inwardly, he purposely increased the volume of his footsteps, causing Cleves and the others to turn their gaze to him. "Friend, what happened?" Klein asked. But he still maintained the appearance of Gehrman Sparrow, being cold and sharp. Cleves replied, "A private job, a hunt that came by accident, but one that's worth looking forward to." "A hunt? Tonight, Gehrman joins the hunt." The reason he had named himself Gehrman was that it was the first hunter of a game he had played in his previous life. Holy shit, oh my god, that's a Bloodborne reference. My go, cuttlefish, what the fuck? And it suited his idea of hunting evil at sea. Klein was in no hurry to inquire about the reason. Using his left hand, which wore creeping hunger, he pointed to the shadow next to him with his left finger. "Private job? Doing a private job in front of your employer?" Klein played Bloodborne. It's canonical. Even my fictional media's main character has good taste. What the fuck? This is great. Cleves, who was squatting there, glanced at the boy and girl and said, Cecile wasn't careful enough and ended up waking Donna and Danton up. She had no choice but to let them follow. The girl called Donna wrinkled her nose when she heard her name mentioned. She looked up and asked Klein, "Uncle, are you an adventurer also?" "I confess, I've only played Dark Souls 1 out of the Soulsborne." "That's crazy. Dark Souls 1 is fine, but there's so many better options. Bloodborne is... I'm not gonna lie, it took me a really long time for me to eventually play Bloodborne, especially as someone who plays on PlayStation, so like I had the access to it this entire time. I only played it last year. It was really good. I've played, I'm gonna say 4. I've only finished 3 Soulsborne games though. I finished Dark Souls 3, Bloodborne, Elden Ring. I've played Sekiro, but fuck, I don't think I have the skill level for it. Holy fuck. I've never been a parrying guy, and parrying is the whole shtick of Sekiro, and damn, I did not do good on that. But I also didn't try very much. I played for like 3 hours, and I just gave up. The girl called, "Uncle, even if it's the me from Earth, I'm at most 10 years older than you." Klein said in amusement, "No, you can't use that word. Also, strictly speaking, I'm the only adventurer here. They're just bodyguards right now." "Hey mate, what prey did you discover?" he asked Cleves. "A murloc," Cleves said. "Murloc? That's a Beyonder creature. Even though it's of the lowest grade, they're still difficult for ordinary people to deal with. They would at least need 5 or 6 people and 4 or 5 spears to have a chance." "That's right. The scales on a murloc's body are very hard. Revolvers barely do any damage. They need a rifle." Klein asked, "What do you plan on doing? How are you sure it's a murloc?" There are traces of its body's mucus here. 1 or 2 hours ago, it tried to climb onto the ship and attack passengers, but the deck was still bustling with activity, and there were a lot of sailors and crew. Klein took a few steps forward and saw that there were some traces of green corrosion on the side of the ship. He recalled the information he had come into contact with in Tingen City, and it coincided with the contents in the books. He asked with great interest, why must it be one? Why not a group? He remembered that Murlocs had a tendency to live together. If it's a group, then they'll directly destroy the ship's hull and let everyone sink. Moreover, the area around this channel and the surrounding sea have already been cleared of Murlocs. The Church of Storm really enjoy hunting them. That's because they're probably one of the main ingredients of the Sequence 9 potion. Klein stroked the revolver in his pocket and asked with a smile, "Are you confident?" Cleves didn't directly answer him and instead opened a paper bag beside him. Inside the bag were some pig organs still stained with blood. This was the source of smell of the blood that Klein noticed. All Murlocs like this kind of food and are unable to resist its allure. Of course, these monsters love human organs the most. So, in many sea legends, it's emphasized to prepare some pig or beef organs from the kitchen or canned organs. Pepper granules can also cause the Murlocs to feel the excitement of smoking marijuana and losing some of their senses of balance. Okay, the implication that pepper granules make them feel the excitement of smoking marijuana makes me feel like canonically someone has captured a Murloc and made him smoke. Yeah, like I'm so curious. How do we know this? How do we know weed affects Murlocs the same as humans? Like, so the Schrodinger of this universe gave 2 Murlocs weed and 2 of them pepper granules, and we're like, this is Schrodinger's weed. He both is and is not high at the same time. This can last for a minute, and after that, the Murlocs will be exhausted after the high state of excitement. He then took out a wooden box from his clothes and placed the dark green paste on the tip of the triangular blade, dagger, and short knife. The mint cream that's popular in Pritz Harbor is a unique sweetener from humans, but in the eyes of Murlocs, it's a deadly blood toxin. In addition, I borrowed 2 rifles from sailors and got an agreement to not disturb this area for 20 minutes, and I spent a sizable amount of money. However, if I can successfully kill a Murloc, I'll be able to reap 10, 20, or even 30 times the cost. So he probably spent like £3? How much is he getting for a Sequence 9 potion ingredient? Like £100. How much money did you spend? Keep it as a pet, maybe? As expected of an experienced adventurer, he's very aware of the weakness and problems of its prey. Listening to him speak, I feel like they have a chance to successfully hunt the Murloc, even if they aren't Beyonders. In the face of traps and firearms, low-sequence Beyonders really aren't much stronger than the average person. It's not like there are no low-sequence Beyonders who die in gang wars. However, Murlocs are creatures that seem to wear full-body armor. It's not exactly easy to kill them. They would be injured, but it's not like they can't escape. Klein curiously asked, "You seem to have killed quite a number of Murlocs?" Understanding the characteristic of common sea monsters is a prerequisite for an adventurer's survival, Cleves said. As they conversed, the girl Donna and the boy Denton squatted in the shadows and listened with relish. They found all of this to be so interesting. "Yes, I also need to brush up on my studies in this area," Klein smiled. "So that's how it is. I didn't disturb you, did I?" Cleves pierced a portion of the organs on his rod and said, "If you want to participate, take care of Donna and Denton so Cecile won't be distracted." Your stream died? It's fine from my end, Major. I would just try refreshing it. Everything seems okay on my end, I think. Not for me either. I have it pulled up here. Although I guess I don't know how to convey that to her. If the stream is dead for her. Sure, Klein said. So Klein is just babysitting? Based? Okay. Alright, we're just gonna get to 500 today. I feel like that'll be a nice, even little place to end up. You're lucky then. Well, the fact that you're messaging probably means the stream isn't dead, no? Devil, how's it going? Biden's the name. No, they may not have visual, but only audio. Oh, yes, I suppose that's possible. The red moon hung high in the sky as Klein walked over to Donna and Denton and squatted beside them. I can't see Red Devil. It works. Based. Okay, great. So now you can both coexist. Even in childish, I don't enjoy you doing this way, it's better than nothing. I have nothing except chat. Okay. Cecile, the other comrade of Cleves, let out a sigh of relief. She picked up the revolver on the deck, bent down, and quickly walked in another direction. Uncle, is it starting? Donna asked. Klein raised his left index finger to his mouth, motioning for the two youth to be quiet. At times like this, he couldn't help but think Roselle. It was because of the efforts of this transmigration senior that some of his habitual gestures had become common body in the northern continent. It was said that that in the early part of the Fifth Epoch, this don't talk gesture was an insult in loan. And in certain parts of the southern kingdom, it meant kiss me. Donna and Den didn't dare say a thing. They squatted there quietly. The former adventurer picked up a rod and threw the thread with some pig organs hanging from it over the ship. With a splash, the bait entered the water. Refreshing didn't help. Oh, shit. I think he meant that we're the only meaningful thing left in this. What? Calmly dispersing the remaining organs, Cleves wielded a weapon and retreated, step by step, to hide in the shadows opposite Cecile. The two of them formed an angle of about 60 degrees to the side of the ship where the rod was being supported. Leaning this triangular blade and other weapons, he raised his rifle and tried to take in the feeling of aiming. The deck had completely quieted down, leaving only the operating sound of the steam engine and the crashing waves against the ship. Oh, Devil, I did see your message last stream. I'm not sure if I did say it, but like, congrats on getting PR, dude. That's fucking awesome. That's so hype. You don't have to worry so much anymore. As the minutes ticked by, Donna and Denton couldn't help but switch from squatting to sitting with their backs against the planks of the cabin, trying to soothe the paralysis in their legs. Doing anything to celebrate, Devil? It's working on my phone at least? Okay, well, that's something. Oh, Maisha, I'm not sure if you're interested, but if you are, there's a link to the Discord in the description if you're interested in joining, just so you can get a heads up for when we're going live and stuff. I hate YouTube. Dude, I watch YouTube on my phone all the time, but I can never do lives. I agree. I can't do lives. Just chilling? Okay. The muffled sound... At that moment, they saw the rod on the side of the boat sink a little. The muffled sounds of friction rapidly grew closer and closer. Suddenly, a figure jumped onto the deck. It was a monster that bathed in the crimson moonlight. Its entire body was covered in dark green scales, and there was a green slime flowing around it. I have you on TV? That is... okay. You know what? Mom, I'm on TV. Get the camera. It didn't have much in common with humans. It was like a giant fish that had grown 4 strong limbs, and there was obvious webbing in the cracks of its limbs. The Murloc was more than 1.9 meters tall, with round eyes and gills on its cheeks. It looked like a demon from Legends, making Donna cover her mouth to prevent herself from screaming. Except 1,030-second ads every 2 seconds? Are there more ads on TV than regular? Or than on your phone or... I guess phone you can't really do anything, but at least on desktop or laptop you can have an ad blocker, I guess. By far? Really? I only noticed since I have ad blocks and oh, I see. Okay. At the same time, she covered the mouth of her brother Denton as well. Good thinking, Klein smiled. Unlike the sailor rampager he had seen before, Murlocs didn't have human-like brains. They were pure monsters. I feel like there's a 20% increase. Jeez. The Murloc vigilantly scanned the surroundings before squatting down. It picked up the scattered pig organs, quickly stuffed them into its mouth, and began producing clear chewing sounds. The light in its mainly white eyes gradually faded as it fell into a dream. It's of low intellect. Klein shook his head and made a judgment. Probably more than 20. Cleves pulled the trigger and a bullet flew out from the rifle. It instantly struck the Murloc's chest, causing its scales to shatter and the blood to spatter. Wait, Justin, if you're... wait, hold on. Justin, if you're watching from TV, how are you chatting? Do you have a keyboard connected to your TV, or? Cleves pulled the trigger, and a bullet flew out from the rifle. It instantly struck the Murloc in the chest, causing its scales to shatter. Type on phone. Oh, you can connect phone to YouTube. Oh, I don't know. I have Apple TV, so I don't. Well, I also have an yeah. So I have Apple TV, so I don't ever do anything like that. The merman. What? The Murloc let out a cry which sounded like a child, and it threw itself at Cleves, who was hidden in the shadows. It was as fast as a steam train. I type on phone. At this moment, Cecile, who was in another position, opened fire as well. The bullet from the rifle struck the Murloc's ribs, causing many scales to shatter and its tall figure to stagger. The Murloc, who had eaten the pepper granules, became visibly sluggish. It stopped, unsure of which enemy to attack first. And this gave Cecile and Cleves a chance to calmly reload. They took aim again and pulled their triggers. Bang, bang. The sprays of bloods bloomed in succession. The pain caused the Murloc's eyes to regain its lucidity. It flipped and pounced, dodging the follow-up shots, and closed in on Cleves as if it were unhurt. Cleves methodically put down the rifle in his hand and picked up the triangular blade that was leaning to his side. Instead of dodging, he leaped forward and rolled to the side of the Murloc. The triangular blade in his hand ruthlessly and accurately pierced the area where the scales had been shattered. The Murloc spun around abruptly, bringing with it a gust of wind. It forcefully threw the triangular blade along with Cleves out, causing the former adventurer to crash onto the deck. The Murloc shook its head as though sensing an intense discomfort. It didn't attack Cleves or Cecile again, but instead took large strides to the side of the ship in an attempt to escape. Cecile's bullet hit it again, causing blood to blossom again, but it still didn't make it immobile. With 2 steps, the Murloc reached a suitable position, bent its knees, and prepared to jump. But its body was too weak to exert its full strength. The distance it jumped was not enough, so it could only land on the inner side of the ship. The Murloc bore the brunt of the damage and tried to flip over the side of the ship. Seeing it almost escape, Klein took out his revolver, just then, a loud bang came from another direction. The Murloc's left eye turned into a bloody hole, and one could vaguely see the pale, gelatinous substance squirming inside. It wasn't dead yet. It lay on the floor of the deck, trying its best to crawl and get up. After a few seconds, the poison took effect, and it twitched to death. Klein traced the sound and saw a middle-aged man step out of the shadows on the other side of the cabin. The middle-aged man was wearing a thick, dark red coat with white slacks. He was wearing the standard ship-shaped hat of this era. Ship-shaped hat of this era? Who the fuck is this guy? He was holding an iron-colored musket that was a relic of the times, as well as white smoke bellowed out of its thick black muzzle. Klein heard the attendant introduce the man, and he knew who he was. He was the captain of the White Agate, Elend Cag. With the obvious wrinkles at the corners of his eyes, Elend walked towards Cleves and said, "As a captain, I must ensure that no accidents happen. Forgive me for watching by the side all this time." Cleves had already stood up. He didn't betray his emotions. "This is your ship. According to convention, you have the right to share in the spoils. The next resupply of water and food is in 2 days. You'll have to think of a way to preserve the Murloc's corpse. How about this? Sell it to me at a cheaper price. The difference is the reward I receive." "That is the best solution," Cleves and Cecile agreed. "For 130 pounds, it's all yours." Yeah, see, 130 pounds. And he said, let's say that's a cheaper price. Let's say he would have sold it for 150 normally, okay? He said that's 20 to 50 times what he had already spent. Even if I say 20 times, the guy has spent like 7.5 pounds. Like, bro, chill. The Murloc's Beyonder ingredient has a market price of 150 to 200 pounds. 130 sure is cheap. However, the only thing Cleves and Cecile can do. This is Elend's ship, and he had a large number of armed soldiers and crew to help him. If the negotiations break down, they could sink everyone into the sea within a few minutes. Of course, that's under the premise that I don't involve myself. Yes, it can be seen that Cleves and Cecile aren't Beyonders, at least not Beyonders of the combat and shooting domains. As for Elend, I find it suspect. No, you seem to misunderstand something. I'm not threatening you. 150 pounds. That's a fair price. Hey, good for him. You are the just Elend? Only then did Cecile seem to recall his title on the sea. Just Elend. Okay, you know what? I didn't write this guy's name down, but I feel like it might be necessary, so I will. The fact that he has his own title at sea probably means he's somebody. Let's put him under world building. Sure, why not? Elend Cag. Captain of the... What the fuck is the... White Agate, I think it is? Is that the name? Yes, White Agate. Everything is important, even that Murloc. Don't know. Yeah. The thing is, my brain is so set up to disregard so much information in a novel, because it's like shit that people will mention to flush out the universe and then never mention it. Whereas that just doesn't seem to be the case with this novel. But like, it's like a muscle memory at this point, where like you read a thing, I then analyze it, like, hey, do I foresee that it's important or not? And then based on that, I'll either like store it into long-term memory storage, or I'll throw it away because I find like it's a small piece of detail that's not necessary. Known on the seas as just Elend. Elend laughed and said yes. At this moment, Donna and Denton, stunned by the intense battle and the living monster, jumped to their feet and ran over to the Murloc in excitement and fear. Is it really dead? Donna kicked the Murloc with her foot. She then jumped away and hid, as if she was afraid it would revive. "It really is a monster," Denton said. There are many monsters at sea. Apart from having 4 limbs and being able to stand, Murlocs have no similarity to humans, Elend smiled. He squatted down and took out a knife, slicing the cheek beneath the Murloc's eye, revealing white, tender skin that was tainted with some red. The most delicious part of a Murloc's body is suitable for eating it raw. Ellen carefully sliced the piece of flesh and handed it to Donna. You remind me of my daughter. Unfortunately, she's grown up and has a family of her own. I don't dare eat that, Donna said. Ha 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 ha. Which one of you wishes to try first? Ellen laughed. After confirming there was no warning from his spiritual intuition, Klein added, I'm very interested. Ellen immediately handed him the knife. Give it a try. On land, even nobles may not necessarily have a chance to eat it. These Murlocs are fish monsters. They can be understood as mutated type of fish. He wanted to dispel the siblings' fear. Klein wanted to ask if there was any wasabi, soy sauce, or any other condiments, but seeing as the other party didn't mention it, he didn't want to appear ignorant. Listen, if I had a coin for every time someone said this stream died, I'd have 2 coins, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice. Wait, what now? I had to switch that mindset off too. Mother of Learning is similar to an extent if you ever decide to read it. Okay, so a couple of people have mentioned Mother of Learning. I'm interested. How long is... Dude, username. I thought about Reverend Insanity, then I saw how long it was. It's about the length of Lord of Mysteries and COI put together, and I was like, oh fuck. I don't know if I have it in me to do this. Like 180 chapters. Like that's no problem. Realistically, when I'm in good form, assuming the chapters are about the same length as Lord of the Mysteries, I can read that in like a week. Like that's no problem. So what? It's good. I'm not asking you to read Wandering In. I'm afraid to ask. How long is Wandering In? Klein chewed twice, taking in the delicious tenderness of the meat. This was the first time in his life he was experiencing something like this. Excellent. He wasn't stingy with his praises. Donna watched the whole thing with curiosity, suddenly interested in the flesh of the Murloc's cheek. This overwhelmed her fear and disgust, and she suggested the idea of trying. Ellen fulfilled her request and smiled as she tightly closed her eyes and scrunched into a grimace as she bit into the meat. An indescribable delicacy, she praised. I heard that the chapter lengths in Mother of Learning is very long. Oh, okay. She spurred things into action as Denton, Cecile, and the others shared the little chunk of meat. Eating it satisfied them, but it also made them dissatisfied. They were satisfied with the taste, but dissatisfied with the quantity. Cleves pointed to the Murloc's body and said, the meat around the ribs is suitable for frying, while the belly should be roasted. The other parts are generally bad. A Mother of Learning is 108, but every chapter is like 5x. Oh, for fuck's sake. So it's like, okay, so... Okay. Aegon. How's it going, man? Is that just... I'm almost sure, but Aegon as in Aegon Targaryen from Game of Thrones? If I share your thoughts... I share your thoughts, Ellen said with a chuckle. I'll have the chef prepare it immediately. On such a night, we should enjoy good food and wine together and exchange the legends at sea. It's a very enjoyable matter. I'm looking forward to it, but why did a perfectly fine hunt turn into a delicacy exchange? Klein said. Nice, but a book one? Oh, I see. Okay. Wandering In is 13 million. 13 million words? Isn't like... I think Reverend Insanity is like 6 million or something? Uh, 5 million. Fuck me. It's 2.5 Reverend Insanities, and that's an old stat. It's 5 Lord of the Mysteries. Yeah, book ones. That is insanity. That's crazy. Wait. Yeah. Fuck that. I'm not reading that. Okay. Aegon the Fifth. Is that the? Is that the Mad King, or is that the Mad King? No. No, the Mad King's son. I'm sorry, the Mad King wasn't called Aegon. Who's the fifth? Is that the father of the Mad King? Is that right? Sorry, I have watched the show and I understand a decent bit of the lore, but I'm by no means super into Lord of the Mysteries, so like there's tons I don't know. Now you've heard Wandering and Red said, well, yeah, I guess, but like in the same way that like getting tortured by having my fingernails ripped out makes the prospect of, you know, not eating for 2 days not seem so bad. Doesn't exactly mean I want to do either of those things now. But that being said, did you mean super? Yeah, like I'm not super into Game of Thrones. Is that not what I said? Did I say something else? I'm not super into Game of Thrones. Like I like to think I have a decent understanding of the lore and stuff, but like I'm by no means an expert by any stretch. Above the deck, there was an extra layer of asbestos beneath the grill to prevent the coals sparking from being blown out by the wind and scorching the surface of the ship. The fat cook, why is Cuttlefish so mean? The fat cook, wearing an apron and a tall white hat invented by Roselle, used a fine brush to constantly apply seasoning created from a secret recipe. Basil, fennel, sea salt, pepper, and lemon juice to the long white strip of fish, and frequently flipped them to the side to ensure both sides were evenly heated. The flesh of the Murloc's belly was fatty. You said Lord of the Mysteries, and I was like, oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Yeah, no. I meant, I'm not super into Game of Thrones in that same way. Oh, by the way, no, my notes aren't 15 pages. Let me be clear. Now that you mention it, let me just pull it up really quickly. My notes are actually, like, they horrify me, because if I had this good notes in high school, or, I don't know, I did well in high school without notes, because you don't need to be that smart in high school. But if I had this good notes in uni, my grades would have been way better. I have 14 pages worth of notes just on sequences. It's... Nope, he was cut out of the HBO series. Yeah, but... okay, that makes sense, but Aegon the Fifth was... Was that the Mad King? Or his dad? And I have 26 pages of notes on lore. This one's short, 4 pages on that. So that's 30, 44, 52, 53, okay. 55, 56, 50, we'll call it 55. This doesn't really count. My notes are so long. The flesh of the Murloc's belly was fatty, dripping with drops of oil and causing the coals beneath the iron mesh to sizzle up. Tyrion met him on the way to Daenerys' city. Aegon? But there was no other Targaryens left at that point other than Dany and Jon. But I mean, yeah. And Lord of the Mysteries notes are dude, it's crazy. And even then, I feel like my notes are so inadequate. I popped by for Easy's stream for when he was going over the Volume 1 review or whatever. And his notes were so much more detailed. I was like, holy shit. Like, I never wrote down, like, hey, like, the Nighthawks are for the Evernight Church, and, like, the Hive Mind are for the Church of the Craftsman, God of Steam and Machinery. And, like, I never wrote any of that stuff down, but his notes were so detailed. I was like, bro, I need to step my shit up. There was, sorry, I meant Aegon the 6th. You can... There was? Isn't Rhaegar's son Jon? What are you talking about? Am I Is there another Targaryen alive? Who the fuck is this? Oh, not that. Yeah. No. Oh, and Elia Martell. Oh, his son with Elia. How are you feeling not having any character PV today? Fine. Was the king of Westeros. He ruled jointly and was a rider of Rhaegal. What the fuck? I'm gonna have to read this. What? Why don't I know this history? This is crazy. Okay. I'll have to read this later. Fuck, I have so much to read, dude. I need to finish Pun Pun. It's actually irritating the fuck out of me that I haven't finished it yet. I really hate starting a thing and not finishing it, and it's frustrating me so much that I haven't finished Pun Pun yet. An enticing aroma began to fill the air, and Klein inhaled again and again. In front of the round table and chair, in front of him was a round table and chair. On top of the table was a unique-looking bottle of wine. The wine was golden red in color, and seemed slightly sticky as it swirled about. Sonia blood wine is brewed from the sugar wood juice found in the surrounding areas of the Golden Springs. It tastes like thin honey mixed with blood. It's sweet and smooth, but it's very easy to get drunk on. If you fancy any lady and want to treat her to a drink, you can consider this. It will make her drink more without realizing it. Okay, why am I trying to get the lady drunk here, bro? God. That's under the premise that you're able to handle the amount of alcohol she's drinking. Noticing Klein's scrutiny, Captain Alan Cagg introduced in a half-joking manner. As expected of a former boatswain, he's accomplished when it comes to self-deprecation. A qualified adventurer wouldn't indulge in alcohol, Klein said. Cleves, who was beside him, nodded. Only when they return home will adventurers allow themselves to drink. What a pity. Alan turned around to look at Donna and Den, who were staring curiously at the blood wine. He said, "This isn't something that children should experience." "I've had it before. It's really good," Donna retorted. It's just that I fell asleep without realizing it and slept the entire afternoon." "I remember that you drank 2 cups that time," Den said. "There are a lot of Southerners on this ship," Alan said. Den retracted his disappointed gaze and looked at the Murloc, and he said, Actually, it's not that scary. It's just bigger. Uglier fish with 4 limbs," he said regarding the Murloc. Donna shot a glance to her younger brother and said, "Congratulations, you finally recognized the essence of it." She then looked at Cleves and Alan. "Uncle, are there many monsters at sea?" Murlocs didn't possess beyonder powers, which were beyond one's imagination. In the eyes of ordinary people, they were akin to ferocious beasts at sea, or living examples of legendary monsters. Alan chuckled. "No. In the main sea route and the surrounding areas, there are very few monsters like this. They were cleared out a long time ago." "You must be lucky enough to meet a Murloc. Think about it. If I can kill monsters worth 200 pounds or more, I sure wouldn't be a captain of a passenger ship. I'd organize my own hunting crew and chase these beasts down." "That makes a lot of sense." Klein secretly cheered him on. Only by leaving the main sea routes and going deep into the sea, which are often shrouded in fog or storm, will there be a good chance of encountering such monsters. But that would be very dangerous. Apart from scaly murlocs who can climb, there are also legends of nagas that have the upper body of a human, while the bottom half is that of a snake. They have 6 arms and are very agile. There are also giant octopuses which can spit juices that can corrode a lot of people. Terrifying sea monsters that can flip a boat with a gentle blow. Mermaids with intoxicating songs that make one unwilling to leave. Interesting, so mermaids in this universe are much closer to what I would imagine sirens to be. Because mermaids, in most media are just, like, they're just nice. But sirens are little shits. Blue giant dragons that can produce lightning. Giant birds with wings that can cause hurricanes. I've never seen any of these. They're all legends of the sea, and no one knows if they're real or fake. Very interesting, Donna exclaimed. Dan looked around and seeing that Klein hadn't spoken, he curiously asked, "Uncle, you're an adventurer too. Have you seen such monsters?" "Once. Back then there were 5 of us, and we chanced upon a single murloc. After an intense battle, we finished it. This was a real experience of his in Tenjin City. It was also his first encounter with an official Beyonder who had lost control. At that time, he and Old Neil helped to eliminate a mutated sailor at the request of Swain, the owner of the evil Dragon Bar." 5 people. Donna secretly counted the number of people who had been involved in this battle. 1, 2, 3. She discovered that only 3 people had taken action to kill the murloc. Without waiting for a response, Ellen said with a hint of surprise, "A chance encounter?" "Yes," Klein answered. "Were there any casualties?" "No, only a few minor injuries." "A chance encounter, and you only took 5 people to finish off a murloc? You're all very powerful." Cleves gave his own evaluation. His companion Cecile nodded. The battle that had happened just now was brief and quick, and the murloc seemed easy and vulnerable. But now she and Cleves knew very well that without pre-prepared bait, the hallucinatory effects of the pepper granule, and the subsequent fatigue, the murloc's fatal weakness of the mint cream, and the 2 borrowed rifles, it was impossible to imagine how many people it would need to kill the murloc. Indeed. Very powerful, Ellen looked at Klein. A quick question. I'm not sure if any of you can answer this. Klein could kill this murloc right now probably without the need of anything, right? Like, I would imagine just his physical strength would be enough to kill the murloc if he needed to. Fatal weakness, rifle. Yeah, I think most... Yeah, exactly. Well, exactly. This is the problem I had when... I want to say they said this for sanguines, I think. It was like, oh, the fatal weakness of a sanguine is its heart. It's like, yeah, motherfucker, the heart is the fatal weakness of every living being. You're hardly special. Mermaids and sirens are the same here? Okay, cool. Okay. Yeah, thanks for popping by, Marja. I appreciate it. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I don't think they're doing a PV today, because I think they're probably gonna release the final trailer tomorrow. Tomorrow night for us, it'll be June 1st morning, China, or I say us, but I mean for me. It'll be June 1st morning for China. If they plan on releasing June 28th, which is what people are guessing, it would make sense you'd want a final trailer at the start of the month, and then start doing you know, promos and stuff. That being said, I really do think they need a Western media distribution partner. If they don't have that, the distribution is going to be so limited, it's going to be rough. Again, I understand most people just watch on like pirated sites anyway. That being said, having someone like Crunchyroll or Netflix is really, really important. For a Western audience, they need to know you exist for them to pirate the media. Hi, Dr. Z. I'm okay with if they make it available everywhere. I'd say that Murloc was the strength of a Sequence 9. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, he'd be able to kill that Murloc with his bare hands, right? Like, he wouldn't need any charms or any weapons or anything. Like, he would just be able to either punch through it or just choke him out or whatever. Yeah, but yeah, exactly. Like, most people watch on pirate sites. That's normal. But that being said, if it's not in UK, US, India, well, yeah, exactly. It's not available. And even let's say they make it available somehow, that being said, that's still a service most people don't know exists. There are like probably 10,000 websites that came online today. I'm not gonna fucking use any of them because I don't know they goddamn exist, you know? Were you in the Gehrman the Great Babysitter chapter? Yeah, basically. It was a... Oh, good lord. It was a team formed of 4 Sequence 9s and a Sequence 8. At that time, I was still very young, and I didn't have much experience in combat. I was purely support, Klein answered. Uncle, you're still very young, Donna nodded. I like what you said. Klein keenly noticed Captain had relaxed a lot from what he had just said. At this moment, several crew members had brought over a large ceramic plate. On top of it were pieces of meat that had been fried to a golden hue. The basil leaves were sprinkled with color, and a captivating fragrance assaulted their nose. I know. Sound waited a full, like, probably half an hour for her for Shahrazad to come back. He was like, "I'm not gonna look it up. I'm just gonna wait it out." Okay. Alan raised his glass of Sonia blood wine and offered a toast to a beautiful night. May the storm be with us. To a beautiful night, Donna and Denton cheered. Klein chose to clink glasses with a cup of black tea. He forked a piece of meat on the Murloc's ribs. He found it firm and without fat. However, after absorbing the vegetable oil, its flaws of being too dry had been remedied. As he chewed, it emanated an limitlessly chewy, consistent fragrance. I'm pulling a username, I guess. It's really inferior to the cheek meat, but it's really good. It's better than all the fish I've eaten in Backland and Pritz Harbor. Ellen put down the knife and fork in his hand and sighed. At sea, the greatest danger doesn't stem from monsters, but pirates. They helm their ships, going wherever they please. No one can defend against their advance. Uncle, will we encounter pirates? Denton asked. The route to the Rorstad archipelago is the safest in the world. With colonial islands en route every 2 or 3 days, allowing us to dock, the route is also patrolled from ships by the Imperial Navy and the Church of Storm. Even if pirates came here, they wouldn't do anything excessive. After seeing our cannons, they would at most extort some compensation. But from the south of the Rorstad archipelago, as we continue east, we'll have to rely on the Lord's blessing. Many pirates are active in these areas, playing hide-and-seek with the ships of the Navy and Church. If we're lucky, we'll be able to reach the southern continent and every destination smoothly. If we aren't lucky, we'll encounter some relatively powerful pirates, including the fleet of the 7 pirate admirals and even the 4 kings. So I guess south of the... what was it? Sorry. South of the Rorstad archipelago is like the New World, basically. Cheeks, mate. Yeah. I thought of making that joke username, and then I was like, it's too on the nose. But I thought of it. However, we don't have to be too worried. Ever since Nast became the king of the 5 seas and enacted the rule of sea passage, most pirates will only rob you clean of your wealth without doing anything too overboard. I said this when it was said, but unless it was auto-released. Okay, no worries. Yeah. Around this area, we're most afraid of encountering the captain of the Black Tulip. Admiral Hell Ludwell. He'll get his subordinates to kill everyone on board, throwing the innocents into hell. Next would be the Admiral of Blood Seigneur. He loves blood, and he allows his subordinates to participate in heinous acts. Many girls have suffered under them before being sold to different islands. I will copy paste this because I feel like these fucking admirals and fucking bullshit will come in handy in the future. See, like my every instinct in my body developed through years of not reading book or speed reading books the day before a fucking test is due. Tells me that I don't need to worry about such small details, but everything I know about Lord of the Mysteries is also telling me I do need to know about these details, so I'll type it. I don't know if you guys used to have like book tests for you guys. Like my teacher used to have like hey, since we're reading this book, like okay, we finished chapter 6, so tomorrow we have a chapter on what happened. We have a test on what happened in the first 6 chapters. Fuck. I used to, because I would never read the books, and then I would need to speed read them like the day before, and I wouldn't even read them the day before because I'd play video games. And like in the period before the test, I'd just be like, quickly read, speed reading through the chapters, and just be like, okay, I don't need to know this. I don't need to know this. Yeah. No, our teachers, cause they knew, that we would use a SparkNotes. They would purposely ask us like details on small questions that wouldn't be in SparkNotes. Like I remember in like to be a mockingbird, there's a question. It was something about a fucking tire that she asked. Like the answer to the question that she asked was a fucking tire. That was never going to be on SparkNotes. It was like the most niche question, because she knew like, oh yeah, they're gonna try to use those. So she would ask stuff that would never be on there. She was very clever. Good for her. Donna trembled as she unconsciously changed the subject. I heard that there was a lot of treasure at sea. There are legends of treasures, but most of them are fake. There are 6 stories which are the most famous. Ranked first is the Death's Key. Rumor has it that at the end of the 4th epoch, Death, who has caused the Pale Disaster, was attacked by the 7 gods and ended up perishing. Whoa. Oh, I don't know if this is lore I know. Death was jumped by all 7 of the gods? Jesus. He attempted to return to the southern continent and create a raging stormy wave, an impassable barrier. It completely obstructed the sea route between the north and southern continent. This is the origin legend of the Berserk Sea. However, he eventually failed to return to the southern continent and ended up vanishing in the sea. When he said this, Ellen sighed with pangs of yearning. It's said that in some place in secret in the Berserk Sea, the treasure left behind by Death is waiting for the person holding the specific key to find and open it. No one knows what the key looks like or where it will appear. Ranked second is the Fountain of Unaging. It's deep in the Sonia Sea. Rumor has it that one of the 4 kings, King of Immortality, Agalito, had drunk the waters of the Fountain of Unaging. Insane lore, actually. What the fuck? Hold on. I experienced a whole nother level of desperation back at school. Wait, hold on, sorry. To the notes, seriously. Sorry, I have a lot of chat to catch up on. But after that, I'm gonna quickly just address what I just read. Okay, give me a second. Because we always had to read the books aloud in class, I was too dyslexic to do that. My solution was to memorize the entire book before. That is insane! What? That can't be the easiest solution. Summer reading and tests after I bombed The Lord of the Flies and only read it because the questions were insanely out of context. Oh, we read Lord of the Flies in school. I don't know if I read more than a page of that book ever. Just I don't know how I did on the test. I can't remember, but I mean, I did well in grade school, so it was probably fine. Mine were always stuff in class. I guess they didn't trust us to actually read outside of school. No, ours wasn't like that. We would read like portions of it in class, but it would be like very little, and then most of it would be like, hey, read pages like 50 to 65 at home or something. I really experienced a whole nother desperation back at school. That is insane. Of Mice and Men. I don't believe I actually ever read that. We actually ever had to read that in school. I don't believe I ever read it. Yeah, you made fun of him for dying? I made fun of him for dying, but I don't recall that he was fucking jumped. Wait, hold on. Let me just, Of Mice and Men was optimal reading for us? Optional reading, I see. Yeah, no, I don't believe I ever read that in school either. Hold on, sorry. I just need to quickly go through what I just read because I feel like that's really important lore. Hold the phone. Okay. Legends, most of them are fake. There are 6 stories. First is the Death's Key. Death, who caused he attempted to return to the southern continent and create a raging storm, an impassable barrier. The fact that this says impassable barrier makes me think the City of Silver might be beyond that barrier. Is that crazy? You know what? Since we're making that, let's do what we do when we make theories, okay? I need to get my paycheck first because I don't have any money. Coin flip. Is the City of Silver behind this impassable barrier created by death? No. Fuck. Okay, never mind. Dog shit theory anyway. Didn't like it. Well, building. Yes. Okay, that's fine. It completely obstructed the sea route between the northern and southern continents. Okay, this is the origin legend of the Berserk Sea. However, he eventually failed to return and ended up perishing at sea. It's said that in some secret place in the Berserk Sea, the treasure left behind by death is waiting for the person holding the specific key to find and open it. What would be the treasure left behind by death? Would it be like one of the sequence 1 artifacts or something, or a sequence 1 characteristic for the death pathway, so that eventually the person who has two already of the sequence 1s could find the third and then become death, maybe? That might be a thing. Like, I don't know if Azek would be considered sequence 1 of, or I don't even know what considered would mean in that scenario. I don't know if Azek is sequence 1 of the death pathway. He's definitely demigod. I just don't know if he's sequence 1 strong. He's either like a 3 or a 2 is the question. Is he just a demigod or is he an angel level is the question. 1 feels like, I feel like 1 would be like a substantive difference. Like, you know, 1 would be like a king of angels. That would be Amon, Adam, when we eventually get to fight him. You know, that sort of thing. I don't know how strong Amon is. He could be weak as fuck too, by the way. I don't know. You know, the way we build up kings of angels, I just imagine they're built different, so to speak. Second is the Fountain of Unaging. Fountain of Unaging just feels like... Does that not just feel like what Azek has anyway? He's like 2,000 years old, and he looks like he's 30. Is that not the Fountain of Unaging? That's crazy. Okay, but thank you for listening to my schizoid rant. Let's get back to reading. 496. Okay. Fountain of Unaging. Will you really gain eternal youth if you drink it? Donna asked. Ellen didn't answer at once. Instead, he forked a piece of the rib meat, tore it into 2 bites, and took a sip of the wine. I don't know if there's a fountain of unaging, nor am I certain if the king of immortality, Agalito, drank its waters. I only know one thing, and that is that when I was young, I heard the legend of this pirate king. It's just like how the king of the 5 seas, Nast, seems to live forever. Their beards must be very, very long, extending well beyond their chest, Danton said. In fact, the king of the 5 seas, Nast, has a beard that only reaches below his neck. He sits on the deck, draped in a black splendid robe with silver ends. He wears a crown that's 2 times taller than his head and overlooks everything like a deity, Ellen said. Call me crazy. You know what? Fuck it. Since we're doing 3D crafting time, let's just stick to it at this point, shall we? Draped in a black splendid robe with silver ends, and he wears a crown that's massive. Does that not look like visually what a Black Emperor looks like? I'm not saying Nast is a Black Emperor. I'm saying if I'm going with my theory that someone is attempting to become a Black Emperor, based on what they're describing, Nast might be that someone, you know? Uncle, have you ever met the king of the 5 seas? Donna asked. This was the most legendary pirate. His name traveled through the sea, and even the children of the port cities knew his name. Whole generations of people grew up listening to stories of him. In a sense, many people view Nast as the true pirate king. I remember one of the conditions for advancement to Black Emperor is to equate one's name with Emperor, entrenching it deep into the hearts of people. Let's go! Is this an earlier simplified version of that attempt? I wonder what sequence the king of the 5 seas is now. Although Klein was focused on sampling the Murloc meat, his mind whirled as a result of the group's discussion. Let's go! Oh my god. Who the fucking god? I feel like taking away Milosh's mod powers. Because he once said to me, he was like, oh, you don't deserve to be a seer. You know, you haven't predicted that many things. Get fucked, Milosh. If you watch this, if you watch the VOD of this, I want you to hear this. Ellen sighed. At that time, I was very young and serving under William V. Once our fleet tried to cross the Strait of Calamity in the Berserk Sea and encountered the Black Emperor's ship there. And he's even called the Black Emperor? This motherfucker, this is it. Oh my god. Yeah, he said he would remove his modhood, then deleted his promise. Oh, he's a child. He has yet to understand the value of holding to his word. Give him time. In those few minutes, everyone, including the fleet captain, lost the will to fight. Fortunately, Nast didn't give the order to attack us. Very cool, Denton cheered. As for the King of Immortality, Agalito, I've never met him in my life. Actually, I'm gonna add that to my theory at that point. I'm not King of think Nast. Okay. As for the King of Immortality, Agalito, I've never met him in real life. I only know that his bounty notice depicts a pale middle-aged man. How pale? Let me give you an example. It's like he's been dead for some time, a corpse that's just beginning to rot. Of course, the most important thing in a bounty notice isn't the looks, it's the reward. In loan alone, Agalito is worth about 100,000 pounds. And his bounty is the lowest among the 4 kings. Let's continue the stories of the treasures. Ranked 3rd is the inheritance of the Solomon Empire. You just drop that without explaining? You're not going to tell me what the inheritance of the Solomon Empire is? That's insane. What? You're gonna give me no fucking heads up on what this is. That's crazy, bro. Come on. You're preparing for what, devil? In the fourth epoch, when that massive empire was dissolved into and destroyed, the royalty brought treasures that even the gods would be jealous of onto a ship. They steered it they steered it deep into the Fog Sea, awaiting for the opportunity to rebuild their dynasty. Oh, never mind. They are giving me something. Thank God. In the fourth epoch, when that massive empire was dissolved and destroyed, the royalty brought treasures that even the gods would be jealous of onto a ship. What in the actual fuck would gods be jealous of? Sequence 1 formula so they could have angels by them, maybe? They steered it deep into the Fog Sea and awaited the opportunity to rebuild their dynasty. However, 500 years later, 1,000 years later, and 1,500 years later, but it ultimately didn't appear. Rumor has it that the king of the Five Seas, Nast, inherited the post of the Solomon Empire's inheritance. No one knows if he's a descendant of the real Black Emperor. Solomon Empire, which pathway did they control? Wait, in my notes it does say that Nast claims to be a descendant of the Solomon Empire. Solomon wielded the Black Emperor, so they wielded the lawyer pathway, so that's what Nast wields as well. Well, obviously that's what he wields if he's going to become a Black Emperor. And the fact that the captain mentioned that they once came across the Nast ship and everyone lost the will to fight, that seems in line with what a lawyer can do. That makes sense. Okay, fuck's sakes, this is okay. I did not expect this much lore. Well, I guess it also makes sense. You know, start of a new volume, you'd expect a lot of notes, I guess. That is crazy. That's number 3. The fucking inheritance of the Solomon Empire is number 3. Is crazy. Fog Sea, western shore of the North Continent, Donna thought back. Right, Cleves responded. West of the northern continent was the Fog Sea. To its east was the Sonia Sea, south was the Berserk Sea, and north was the North Sea. East and west sides of the northern continent were similar to the northern continent, while the south of it was the Polar Sea. Together, they formed the 5 seas. I don't necessarily need this, but I feel like for future videos I'm gonna make, it's handy to have this kind of geographical knowledge and stuff. I swear, whenever I make lore videos on Lord of the Mysteries, I'm gonna need to like fucking publish my script and have like a couple of people run through it, because I'm for sure gonna get some shit wrong and you guys are gonna crucify me on Reddit if I do. So I need to try to get it as right as possible. The Lone Kingdom was backed by the Hornacious mountain range and the inland Midsea Shire. Its eastern face was the Sonia Sea, and it stretched south to the Desi Bay. It occupied several of the excellent entrances to the Berserk Sea, but it didn't involve the Fog Sea. Romero will crucify... Yeah, exactly. Is that so? Donna didn't have much interest in the faraway treasures, so she switched focus. What's the fourth treasure? Okay, I might as well just copy paste the entire fucking chapter at this point. Who even knows? Make a new title for notes, geography, add seas and things like that, and location of mountain ranges. Will there be enough that I should? Well, I guess the fact that sound is saying that it means I probably should. Fuck it. Okay. Okay, give me a new... hold on. Geography. There's enough. Okay. Oh god. Why does that sound so menacing? There's enough. Oh, trust me. There's enough. Just you wait. You just wait, sunshine. There's way more than enough. Jesus. Okay. The fourth treasure. It belongs to the last empire of the fourth epoch, the Truanst Empire. See, this is cool info too. I didn't even know if I necessarily knew this, that the Truanst Empire is the last empire of the fourth epoch. I don't even know if I know that. Rumor has it that they built a huge ship the size of a city, and they transferred all their treasures onto it. Funny enough, their escape was of no use. Although the predetermined passengers and crews didn't fail to arrive in the port at time, none of them survived. However, that ship vanished by itself. Up to this day, people often claim to see a gigantic ship sail by them silently in a foggy night. It's been called the Spectre Empire, and it appeared across the Sonia Sea. This is the conclusion from all those stories. Oh, for fuck's sakes. I feel like if Klein can even get one of these treasures, the Tarot Club really becomes a monstrous power in this reverse. If he can even manage to bag one of these. I mean, I could also say Alger, but we all know Alger's doing dick, so, you know, it's up to Klein, really. Perhaps we'll see it pass us tonight or tomorrow. Your version says Truanst... It's you know what? It's just a spelling error sound. It's not that important. It's all good. The fifth is the lost city of Newins. Rumor has it, at the bottom of the Fog Sea, there's a civilization with intelligent creatures. Around that patch of sea, seafarers and adventurers often find special items, which all point to the Newins of ancient times. However, the members of that civilization have yet to appear. It's like a lost world. That is the inheritance left behind by a civilization. The magnitude of its wealth is absolutely unimaginable. So this is just, Atlantis? Yes, this is just Atlantis then. The lost city is my favorite treasure? In fact, the treasure I look forward to most is one which has more accounts than legends. The Sunkel Laurel. More than a century ago, it carried gold, jewelry, and various valuable items that the kingdom obtained from East Balam, and it steered away from the sea route. It sunk in an unknown area somewhere between the Berserk Sea and the Sonia Sea. I have watched one episode of One Piece, the first one. Username, you haven't seen One Piece? I expected more from you. It has not been found to this day. It said that its items on board are worth millions of pounds. Millions of pounds? The numbers caused Donna to blurt out in astonishment. As a merchant's daughter who had been educated for many years, she had a vague understanding as to what this number represented. In loan, a millionaire was a genuinely rich person, second only to top nobles and tycoons. Okay, so that is also going into the... I'm not kidding. If Klein can even get one of these treasures, we're chilling. The last one, the ship is really valuable for Klein personally. For the Tarot Club as a whole, it's probably not hyper valuable. Because to Audrey, it doesn't mean that much. Well, I guess millions of pounds, even to Audrey, is more money than she has. Like Berserk, I'll never... You can't say that username. You can't say... Okay, I'm gonna ask one question, okay? And know that you will be judged based on your answer. Have you read Vagabond? I can't remember right here. If I can find the Sunken Laurel. Okay, I guess that answers that username. If I can find the Sunken Laurel, then I don't have to be a captain anymore. I'll head to Backland and become a philanthropist. I'll purchase land and donate to political parties and get a hereditary aristocratic title. I've heard Talon mention that a baronet costs between 300,000 and 800,000 pounds for a baron. If you manage to get your hands on the treasure, the titles of Viscount and Earl are within imagination. Millions of pounds. If it were me, I wouldn't do that. I'd buy a huge manor. By the way, when it says that a baronet costs 300,000 pounds, does that mean you have to pay the crown that much money? Or does that mean, like, you have to have that much money? If I'm honest, even I haven't read his Big Three sound. I've only seen Monster. I really need to watch 20th Century Boys, though. I've heard so much good things about it. I really do need to read it. You need to pay? That's great, but it's a one-time... Still, that is insane! Okay, username. You have read it. How did you like Vagabond? And again, I want to be clear. You will be judged. If it were me, I'll buy a huge manor. It's a way for commoners to become nobles. That is not a way... If you have 300 to 800,000 pounds to pay for a title, you're not a commoner in any sense of that word. I want to hire many servants and helpers. Good. I'm not going to say shit. Okay. You sure do need to read 20th Century Boys? Okay, I will. Okay, I promise. Wait, I put this in my list. I can't remember. I put a list out in the manga section in Discord. Romero has said that I first need to, before anything else, I need to read Usogoi, so we'll do that. That's fine. It should be pretty short. A manga you can read really, really quickly. And then I can't remember what I said after, but like, you know. If I haven't picked out anything, then we can do 20th Century Boys. Not right, Usogoi. I haven't read it either. Ellen laughed when he heard that. Ma'am, do you not know how much a manor like this costs? No, I don't. Sound, you know how much I do divinations on stream. Why are you asking a rhetorical question? It's only a few £1,000s. If you find the Sunken Laurel, you can buy 1,000 of those manors. She looked at Cleves and said, Boss, if you find the Sunken Laurel, what do you plan to do? Return home. I'll hug my wife and children. Tell them that I no longer need to go on an adventure. Not a bad guy. Uncle Adventurer, what about you? Tell myself not to sleep anymore? Hurry up and wake up? Justin, have you read Monster? Or watched Monster? I did watch the anime, but like the anime from my understanding is very faithful, so... Even though I know it's basically impossible to find the treasure, otherwise the churches would have already done it with all the powerhouses they have. I still can't help but get excited. This is the charm of treasure. Donna wiped her mouth, sat down like a lady, and Denton still eager for more. Are there any other treasures? Cleves calmly drank a mouthful of black tea and said, there are countless treasure at sea. The hidden lands of the elves, the missing pirate ships in the depths of the fog, the underwater city sealed with powerful monsters, the last secret trove of Emperor Roselle. The last secret trove? Emperor Roselle has already reached the level of leaving treasures and legends for others? If it's true, there would be cards of blasphemy in there. How many? The legend of the Key of Death might help Azek regain more of his memories, Klein thought with curiosity and anticipation. Nope, haven't watched Monster? That's crazy. And read manga. Okay, 97. Give me 5 minutes, guys. I'm just gonna run down and make more tea really quickly. My tea's all cold. I'll be right back, and then we'll do the last 4 chapters. I'm still not at 100%. My throat still does hurt. But either way, I'd like to get to 500. I feel like that's a good place to leave it today. So give me like 5 minutes, okay? I'll be right back. We're back. We're back. I really don't think that was more than 5 minutes. That was possibly the quickest break I've ever had. It's crazy. I mean, One Piece, for example, never left a big impression. Like Alter Ego, did you just say to me that One Piece did not have a big impact? What? Lord of the Mysteries is sitting here and it's been making One Piece references since like volume 7. Or not volume 7, like chapter 7. What are we talking about? One Piece has such a massive influence. Is there not a One Piece NBA thing collab going on? Oh, are you talking about are you talking about emotional impact? Oh, emotional impact. Okay, emotional impact. You can. I mean, personally, for me, One Piece had a lot of emotional impact, but like that. Okay, you get. Okay, that's a much more defensible statement. Okay. Okay. Where were we? Yes. I said it didn't have a big emotional impact for. Okay. Okay. Yeah. See, that's okay. That's a defensible statement. Okay. Never mind. Sorry, I misunderstood. Okay, we're okay. By the way, have you guys seen the One Piece NBA thing? The One Piece NBA collab? Have you guys seen this? I will show it anyway, but man. This is so good. This is so cool. This is so cool. Like, I love this. Who's the king, baby? Let's go. Oh, that's so cool. Like, in terms of culture, I don't know if there's any anime that has had this big an impact. One Piece, a while space, One Piece, and this was a while back, overtook Batman for sales. It's now like rank number 7 of all time media, which is maybe not media, but like book sales or whatever. Like, that is insane. It overtook Batman. Batman's been running since 1929? When was the first detective? When did 39, sorry, shit. Ugh, bad memory. 1939, and One Piece outsold it like last year, maybe 2 years ago. Like, that's crazy. That is nuts, man. The actual birth of a giant. Okay, sorry. 497, The Wall of Rewards. After talking about the legends of treasure that had inspired generations to go adventure and come to sea, the cook also finished roasting the flesh of the Murloc's belly. Desi grilled fish. It's different from how you usually eat it. Ellen pointed at the white porcelain plate the cook lowered. Donna lowered her fork and knife and eagerly said, "I love honey roasted fish, but this is also very appetizing." Honey roasted fish? If I have a chance to try it, the taste should be pretty good. Klein allowed his imagination to run wild. With a chef, there was no need for them to serve themselves. They could only look expectantly as pieces of fish were sliced and placed on different plates. Clan was very serious when it came to tasting delicacies, so he was in no hurry to deal with the fish. After doing all this, he forked a piece of fish and stuffed it into his mouth. In a split second, he felt the slightly stimulating flavors of fennel, basil, and other spices. Immediately after, the delicious juices of the meat, the slight astringent taste of the sea salt, and the refreshing sour and sweet taste of lemon all burst out. As he chewed, the last bit of fish meat's stubbornness was broken one by one as its fat roasted out of it. I also thought it was Space Jam. Klein said what he felt. The layered flavors of the fish are clear and excellent. Your tone and words make you sound like a gourmet, Ellen joked. Uncle, perhaps you should write a column in the newspaper about different restaurants and cuisine. Oh, why didn't I think of that idea? This is a good job that can earn me some money and allow me to taste some delicacies. To a beautiful night, Donna suggested. When there was very little food left, Ellen poured out the rest of the Sonia blood wine and raised his glass with a ruddy face and everyone said, to a beautiful night. The rest drank their liquids from their glasses and watched the waiter clear the tables. They talked for a while amidst the cold wind, talking about the mermaids that Donna was interested in. Cleves told the young lady that in some legends, mermaids were also called sirens. I'm too good, man. And they also used their song to confuse humans not for entertainment, but for hunting. Aside from the possibility of encountering these creatures on the sea route, from the Gargis archipelago to the depths of the Sonia Sea, there was a certain chance of discovering it in dangerous seas that hadn't been explored by humans. No matter what, this all at least points me in a possible direction. Klein took note of what they had discussed. Donna, Denton, it's time to head back. You'll have to get up early and have breakfast with your parents, Cecile said. Fine. Do I have a chance at becoming an adventurer? Denton asked. I can dive into 2,000 or 3,000 chapters in an instant, but always struggle to start One Piece. One Piece is a commitment, especially because, sort of like Lord of the Mysteries, the start is slow. It's not bad, but it's I liked One Piece from the start, but that's a rare opinion. Most people are like, the starting is slow. But in fairness, I also enjoyed Lord of the Mysteries from the very start, and people have the same thing about that, right? So, as with anything, as with any long thing, I say to everyone, take it one step at a time. The journey of 1,000 steps starts with one step. You know, don't worry about the 1,000 and almost 1,100 episodes in front of you. Just worry about the one you're watching right now. Cleves walked to the side, patted his shoulder, and said, "Before you ask this question, you need at least 5 years of combat training and studying. I think your father would hire a good tutor for you." Yeah, Denton's eyes lit up. On the way back to the interior of the cabin, Cleves handed 2 5-pound notes to Klein. Your payment. He had just received a payment of £150 from Ellen's purchase of them a Murloc. But I didn't do anything, Klein said. Cleves glanced at him and said, "You freed up Cecile and took good care of the kids." Took good care of the kids? But he finally took the 2 bills and drew a triangle on his chest. You're more generous than I thought. Thank you. What a nice way to call someone a stingy bastard. What a nice way to tell someone, I thought you were a stingy bastard. Like you reading Reverence. I don't know if I have it in me. Seeing Gehrman Sparrow pocket the money, Cleves looked away and said flatly, "This is a rule of the sea." Without another word, he followed Cecile, Donna, and company into the cabin. If I could get such rewards with every single mission and job of this difficulty, I would have made a fortune a long time ago. Klein looked at the red moon hanging high in the sky. It still shone quietly and gently in the night. Legends of the sea, different monsters. I finally got the slight feeling of being an adventurer. Klein turned around and walked to the edge of the ship. Bathing in the crimson veil, he admired the waves that were growing darker. The cold, damp wind slapped him in the face, and the vast, endless ocean caught his eyes. For a moment, Klein felt the urge to sing, but when he opened his mouth, he found that he couldn't remember the modern verses. I can't just end up singing, "Oh sea, you're all water." The Emperor's Savant sequence is really well suited to doing such things. When I have the time, I should read through his poems so as to not look illiterate. Klein looked at the red moon and said, "What a wonderful day!" No, what a beautiful night. After an accidental episode of getting lost, the exploratory team returned to the city of Silver. Looking at the walls' cracks filled with weeds, Derek found himself in a trance, as if he had been gone for many years. Diagonally behind him, Colin's eyes suddenly wore a lost look as he raised his eyes to his right temple. The rest of the team were filled with joy and relief from the bottom of their hearts. After a difficult exploration, having a home waiting for them was the happiest thing in their hearts. Colin's gaze returned to normal as he turned his head to the side and looked diagonally ahead. Backland, the White family. Is this a race thing or... Sorry, that's a joke. You should look at the 2 pieces of art I sent after this chapter, then I'll leave. Okay, yeah, sounds good, username. No worries, man. 5 a.m. Jesus Christ. Okay, go to bed. Okay, let me finish this quickly and then you can go to bed. After some thought, Emlyn came up to his parents and asked if I wanted to delve into the history of the Sanguine. Who would I look for? If I were to ask about the City of Silver directly, it'd be problematic, though I'm not afraid and very calm. For the ancestor, and in order to save the entire Sanguine race, I have no choice but to hide it. I've always been interested in the history of Sanguine and collected a lot of information, so they shouldn't be suspicious. The gentleman who had gotten his doctorate in medicine put down the thick anatomy book in his hands, nudged his glasses and said, "No one in Backland knows more than Lord Nibs. If I dared to seek Lord Nibs, I would have done so long ago." Klein thought, or Emlyn thought, aside from Lord Nibs? He's sleeping underground, so it's not convenient to disturb him. Waymundy. He always thinks of himself as a historian. Emlyn heaved a sigh of relief and smiled. I want to visit him. The whistle sounded and the White Agate sailed into the Demir harbor. It would replenish fresh food and water on the colonial islands and set sail again in the morning. It took me 30 seconds to get the joke. I'm sorry, what joke did I make? Did I make a joke? I don't remember. But it's not my fault. I need motivation to start doing stuff once I get going. Alter Ego, you're gonna need a lot of alts, man. I don't know how long volume 3... Actually, someone mind telling me how long volume 3 is? That's crazy. I was gonna ask, is this an alt or is this your main account? Because if this is an alt, I'm curious who you are, and if this is your main, then I don't know. Wait, Alter Ego 7. What the fuck? By the way, you do know username. You're free to join, right? You're free to join the server. No one's stopping you? Guess I don't. I'm sorry, I'm at a loss. Took me 30 seconds to get the joke. I guess I can't blame you for being drunk. No? Okay. Well, hey, it was my job to ask, okay? After hunting the Murloc, Klein spent the next 2 days of what could be described as a leisurely or boring life. I have 9 Gmails and many alts on each of them. That's crazy. Milos the Tyrant. Easy services full of rage baiters. So the only reason you're not in mine is Milos? It's secretly you. It's secretly Charizard? No. Dr. Z has enough trouble logging on with one account. I doubt she's trying to log in with that many. Yeah, him being a mod? He was completely bored by the scenery and decided to head to the harbor bar to look around, hoping to get some more information on mermaids and inspiration for acting. If I were to come across a pirate whose hands are stained with blood on shore, I wouldn't mind teaching him a lesson. There are still souls waiting to be released from creeping hunger. During this process, he met Donna, Cleves, and others. They seemed to be heading over to the port restaurant to taste Demir's most famous cured meat. Wait, is it? It's actually Dr. Z? Not really working with a VPN is easy? Holy shit, I wouldn't have even considered that. Okay, never mind. Donna and Denton greeted the adventurer whom they had just gotten to know without their parents noticing and seemed curious as to where he was going. YouTube is an easy app, unlike TikTok. I don't even have TikTok, so I can't say anything about it. Klein smiled back, pulled up his collar, and followed the direction of the signs and found the nearest bar. There's a new Pixar movie? Elio? What? Oh shit, yes, I guess so. It releases in like 3 weeks. I didn't even know about it. Cool. The PFP has a large Z on it. Yes, I did see that, but nonetheless, I figured it was just anyone else. Flying Fish and Wine. Klein looked at the signboard and saw the outside of the bar was plastered with bounty notices. Among them were the 800,000 pounds belonging to the King of the Five Seas, and more than 100,000 pounds for common pirates. It's all money. Klein stood on the spot and looked at it for a long time. He withdrew his gaze, pushed open the door, and entered the bar, only to find it abnormally quiet. What happened? Klein looked around and saw Captain Elland in a dark coat sitting at the bar, as well as 2 large men in the middle of the room, facing each other. Okay, let us check out the art username sent, and then he can go to bed. Oh, good lord! Come on. Nah, I'd procrastinate. Alright. It's all money, yeah. Klein just sees literal humans and he's like, monies. The Moretti family's making... I don't know, whatever that is. Wishing everyone a happy Dragon Boat Festival and early happy Children's Day. What's your progress in COI? I don't know what those are. Benson looks, man, I love this stuff. I find Chibi so cute. Look at Klein looks cute. Melissa looks adorable, and Benson looks the best as far as I'm concerned. Look at him. He looks so cute. He's tried so hard. That's so good. BC may be released for this festival. I don't know what BC means. Okay, Audrey, no problem. I'd say Klein. BC Studio. BC may release this for the. I see. Thank you, username. Audrey Klein. Bottom left is not Lord of the Myth. Okay, good, because I was like, I don't know who this is. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. All right. Thank you, username. Those are very adorable. Well, mine, just like their mascot or something. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah. This is cute too. This is cute too. Much more in the traditional Chinese style. Adorable as always. Thank you so much for sending these. Okay, 498 Persona. Okay, so he's gonna slightly figure out who he wants to be here. Hopefully get a little bit of digestion of the faceless potion and then get that started. Very good. Persona? Persona 5? Persona 6 confirmed? Is there probably a better joke to be made there? Probably, but I can't think of it, so we're gonna go with that one. Okay. Alright, bye username. Have a good night, buddy. Or morning at this point, really. The standoff was between a brawny man in a blue shirt and a symbol of the Navy. Despite the weather being at near zero temperatures, he had his arms bare. He held a dagger at the throat of the man opposite, but his glabella was being pointed at by the ancient musket, one which could be placed in a museum. The musket's owner was more than 1.8 meters tall, with strong muscles and an oily face. He had shaved his hair, and with a sea eagle tattoo, he cursed, "Dog shit Navy sailor." Usually each sequences has 2 points to digest. Like seer, for example, is both internal and external. Oh, cool. Makes sense. Okay. So, like, faceless is in my mind would be like internal would be portraying yourself as someone else, but also internally recognizing the strife that brings you from with who you originally are. And externally would be like, I don't know, people. Like, what would it be externally? Like people accepting you, like accepting your facade. Externally smiling in the face of others. That's a really good way of putting it, Dr. Z. I didn't even consider that. Thank you. No one in Demir Harbor would dare slander me as a pirate informant. The Navy sailor didn't yield to him, and both sides fully illustrated the rich profanities of the sea. Klein observed for a few seconds, then walked around to the edge of the captain, who had a straight sword at his waist and a hidden musket on his body, and asked, "What's happened?" Magician applause of others and preparation of oneself. A magician never performs unprepared, but he also needed applause. A quarrel between two drunks. In Demir Harbor and the surrounding waters, there's always been such rumors that Sea Eagle Logan is in service of the master of the Black Tulip. A Navy sailor had mentioned this a moment ago, and Sea Eagle just happened to hear it. The master of the Black Tulip, isn't it Admiral Hell Hudwell? I don't think I have this guy's name in my fucking notes either, but at this point, in for a penny, in for a pound. Everyone's going in my notes. He tapped on the wooden countertop and said, "A glass of Southville beer. 6 pence, the bartender said. When it comes to continental specialties, the prices are much higher than Backland and Tingen." At this moment, Logan and the Navy sailor were stopped by the bar's bouncer. After they each spoke harshly to each other, they retreated to different corners. Perhaps it was due to him losing his dignity. Actually, you know what? I actually really liked the way you put that, guys. So I'm gonna copy paste your comments into my notes as well for when I make content about that. That's handy. That's really handy. I have so much content I'm gonna make on Lord of the Mysteries. Holy shit. By the time I'm done making Lord of the Mysteries content, you guys are going to be sick of Lord of the Mysteries. I'm telling you. Okay. Perhaps it was due to him losing his dignity. The Navy sailor hurriedly left about 10 seconds later, and the atmosphere became lively again. Want to play some cards? Captain Ellen pointed out. No. Klein's main purpose was coming here was to gather information. Ellen subconsciously wanted to pat him on the shoulder, but his cold and sharp demeanor stopped him. He just reminded him, "Don't get the women here." Klein nodded, picked up his beer and took a swig. Also, don't trust anyone here. Only a small portion of what they say is true. Klein turned his head to glance at him and asked, without a change of expression, "Including you?" "Perhaps." At least my reminder just now was real. Oh, and me being a man is true as well. Not necessarily. There's a potion called a witch in this world. Oh, for fuck's sakes, we're back to boss music. You know what? We're going to ambiance. Fuck it. I don't think anything serious is happening in the next 2 or 3 chapters. Although I've been wrong about that before, so, you know. 2 or 3 minutes later, a short, thin man sat down next to Klein. "Mate, you look like an adventurer." "You could say that," Klein responded. "I can tell you're a hunter that hunts after bounties and riches. Have you heard of the Spectre Empire?" "Yes, a huge ancient ghost ship full of treasure. We have clues to it. We found some information about where it will appear next. We don't want the pirates or the Navy to benefit, and we also don't want to be robbed, so we've decided to hire our own merchant ships to wait in the area, which would probably cost £1,000. I've already found 15 companions and raised £720. Are you interested?" "I know you won't believe it so easily. In fact, no one will. But after the 15 friends who read through the information, all of them decided to join." Do I have such a gullible face? Or would any bumpkin end up in this situation without slipping away from this sort of thing? While Klein was considering whether to appraise the letters, from the corners of his eyes, he saw Sea Eagle Logan, who was previously squabbling, was walking towards him. "Woody, you're trying to scam someone again, you damn sewer rat." Logan picked up the short man and threw him into the open space in the middle of the bar. The muscular man sat in the same position as Woody and goughed. "Sorry, but these are the rats of our Demir Harbor. They always do things that ruin our reputation. In fact, we're all friendly. If you have anything you want to ask about, don't hesitate to ask me." "Don't believe what they say about me. I'm an upright person, and I have nothing to do with Admiral Hell." The more you emphasize it, the more suspicious it becomes. Klein then asked, "I want to know about the latest rumor." "No problem. Give me a plate of special cured meat. I'll be treating this mate to our most famous delicacy in Demir." The bartender brought it out and said £5. Although he didn't look at Logan, he looked straight at Klein. £5. Logan turned his head to the side, smiling. Everyone just heard it. In order to thank me, you offered to treat me to some special cured meat. For a moment, Clyde, that's like, dude, that's like 101. As soon as he orders food, you get up and you just walk away and you're like, okay, well, fuck this. He ordered it. I'm not sitting here. Fuck that. It was only when the bartender urged him a second time that he realized he was being blackmailed. First, they used an easily seen through forest to let Logan appear, thereby winning a good impression. Then, with the excuse of treating the target, ordered a very expensive treat. And then finally, he goes back on his word and turns around. It's no wonder that when Woody was thrown out, those bastards didn't make a damn sound. They were all afraid of this Logan. How should I deal with this? My present persona is Gearman Sparrow. No, that's not. Gearman Sparrow, a somewhat crazy adventurer. Klein raised his cup and drank a mouthful of the beer and said, "Why don't you just rob me?" "Why don't I just rob you?" Logan was a little stunned. Soon after, he saw a fist expanding in his face. Klein's left fist landed on Logan's chin, knocking him backwards towards the bar counter. Holy shit! I'm gonna love this version of Klein. I love this. This is who I've been waiting for. Fuck yeah! With a push of his right palm, Klein nimbly left the chair and approached Logan's falling body. His legs tensed and his knee jerked upward, slamming into Logan's lower abdomen. Logan threw back his head, his eyes bulging while his mouth hung half open. Klein drew his gun, shoved the revolver into the man's mouth, and pulled the hammer back. Okay, he's getting dark. What the fuck? Music changed to I don't think this warrants a fight, even. This shit is over, no? Unless, is there a fight that I should be aware of? If there is, then I'll do it, but I just need to know. Because it seems to me this is over. And if it's over, then there's no point changing. Klein, I am, Logan shouted. Klein looked him in the eye, pulled a revolver and swung it, striking the side of Logan's face with the butt of the gun. Logan's teeth fell out, one after another, and his mouth was stained with blood. Faced with such a heavy blow and the pain that exceeded his limits, his eyes rolled back and he fainted. Klein propped him up and pulled a handful of loose bills and coins out of his pocket. Since he estimated there wasn't more than £5, with just a glance, Klein threw them on the bar and said, "Keep the change." The bartender's face turned pale as he shouted, My boss is White Shark." Without looking at him, Klein released his hand and allowed the sea eagle to fall to the ground. Then he sat down again, forked up the piece of cured meat and stuffed it into his mouth to taste it. After eating 2 pieces, he looked up and said, "Does your boss know that you're colluding with the sea eagle?" No, but the bartender mumbled. Seeing that Klein had no intention of continuing his attack and had paid the bill so quickly, the bouncers who had gathered nearby retreated silently. Yeah, because at this point, Klein is strong as fuck. Like, relative to the average person. It's just, problem is Klein's problems are not the average person's problems, so he feels really weak. But Klein is strong as fuck relative to the average. He's a sequence 6 Beyonder. Like, even mid-sequence Beyonders are so rare in this day and age to the average person. This guy's like a damn near fucking impossibly strong. Klein took a sip of his wine, glanced at the seagull on the ground, and said, "He's Ludwell's important. How much is his bounty?" "No, he's not." The bartender shook his head. "This is just something he says about himself. The information he spreads himself. That Navy sailor from before was hired by him. That's the only way to make everyone here afraid of him." Upon hearing this, the drinkers in the bar all put down their glasses in surprise. Some even staggered over to spit in Logan's face. Klein lowered his head again and asked while eating the meat, "Tell me about the recent rumors." The bartender, who breathed a sigh of relief as he wiped his glasses, gave the intermittent account of rumors in the past 2 months. Some of them were what Klein had heard before, and some were new. The Imperial Navy's ironclad warship Pritz had destroyed a passing pirate crew during routine training. Panic over the behemoth cannons had begun to spread among the small and medium-sized pirate powers. Some of them even wished to take advantage of the ironclad warship's fleet to madly commit crimes before withdrawing from this trade with a sum of money. The sea wouldn't be peaceful for the next 6 months to a year. Admiral of Blood, Senor and Vice Admiral Dusk Bulatov Ivan had a conflict in the southern sea waters of the Sonia Sea, and each of them lost 2 ships in the skirmish. Seeing that the plate containing the special cured meat had been emptied, Klein slowly stood up. Remember today's lesson. Klein handed the plate to the bartender. The bartender was about to reach out when the hair at the back of his head was grabbed. Klein shoved him down so hard, knocking the bartender's head against the bar top, sending splinters flying and blood gushing. Jesus Christ! Okay, Klein, this might be a bit over the top. The customers all tried to avoid the impact, and the bouncers rushed over. After doing this, Klein clapped his hands and picked up his own glass, trying to pour out the rest of the beer onto the bartender's head. 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop. Klein silently gave up. He turned around and bent down, grabbed Logan, and threw him to the bouncers who were rushing over. Taking advantage of the moment the bouncers were dodging and the bar was in chaos, Klein quickly ran, circling around them, and easily left the bar. He pushed down his hat and quickly proceeded forward, running towards the neighboring streets. Why? Why is he building cred? He's gonna leave here in the morning. He's literally just doing this for the persona. He's like, nah, I'd win. They're like, bro, who are you? You don't need to know. You just, neither of these people will be able to eat again ever. Bro, you understand we don't have dentists in this world? Not my fucking problem. Get fucked. Ooh. Like, what? After continuously changing direction, he slowed down his pace, and a gold coin appeared in his hand. The gold coin kept weaving around in his fingers as if it was scouting something. $4.99 solicitation. Is he going up to a prostitute? Does he know that's illegal? The gold coin quickly flipped down, tumbled down, and firmly laid in the palm of Klein's hand. Lowering his head to see if it was heads or tails, Klein spun his heels and smoothly turned into a quiet dark alley. The wind by the sea was cold and strong, and it caused a convection in the area, propelling his coat upwards without him realizing it and causing his hat to almost fall off. Suddenly, Klein stopped, turned around, and said, "Come out." His eyes were sharp as he stared at the shadow around the corner. About 4 or 5 seconds later, a figure emerged. "Very sharp," he chuckled. It was a man in a black coat, approximately 30 years of age, and his eyebrows were charred yellow while his dark blue eyes were bright. His face wasn't too chiseled, as though he was from the area south of Intes, Lemberg, and Seagar. I don't think I've ever heard of Seagar. This is new. As soon as he saw him, a picture flashed in Klein's mind. As soon as he entered the bar, he had professionally looked around to see if there was anyone he needed to pay attention to. The answer at the time was no. The man had been drinking like a sailor and watching curiously from the side, no different from the others. And his appearance wasn't distinct, but his black coat had left an impression on Klein, leaving him to recognize the person who tailed him. "What do you want?" Klein said. The man in the coat laughed again. The fighting technique and handling method you used are very consistent with my taste. I chased you to see if you're interested in joining us. Although that guy named Logan was pretending to be an informant of Ludwell, White Shark Hamilton does have connections with pirates. He's a character with shady background, so he'll definitely take your act of beating up one of his men to heart. There'll be some problems for you in the future, but I can solve it. You're an adventurer, so it's necessary for you to have dreams of treasure. As for us, we're people who have banded together in a bid to seek treasure, such as the Spectre Empire, Solomon's Inheritance, and the Secret of the Fountain of Unaging, Death's Key, the Sunken Laurel, and Roselle's treasure while traveling the 5 seas. Today, although we haven't accomplished any of our main goals, we found many missing pirate ships. What I said does sound like what that rat had said, huh? Frankly speaking, we're a band of pirates formed from a group of adventurers, but we only plunder merchant and passenger ships when we're especially poor, and we don't harm the innocent. Our main focus is on finding treasure and reaping the rewards, and I kid you not, I once slept on a bed of gold coins. If we run into any other pirate ships, just showing them our prowess wins us some compensation. So it seems like they're all probably Beyonders, because the fact that he said like, oh, the display you showed is consistent with my style, he can probably tell that, okay, this is like a Beyonder, the way he's moving is not normal. By the way, our captain has decreed that before we recruit new people, we have to explain our creed and remuneration. Me and 300 plus Kami worded people with no friends and no jobs are planning a picnic on Discord. Sensational. I don't know if sensational is the word I would use to describe what you described to me, but hey, as long as you're having fun, kiddo, but stay safe. Don't get kidnapped, especially now that you have the PR card, You wake up one morning drunk out of your mind, maybe roofied, and you find out you married someone, another Discord mod, and you're just at a shock as to what happened. Oof. Okay. This fellow's quite confident. Although he wasn't a spectator, Klein could tell that he was very confident and unfazed by the scene in front of him. We don't have weeklies or salaries or annuities, but once we find treasures or obtain riches, they'll be distributed according to rank. Under normal circumstances, when our luck is good, the lowest ranking sailors earn about 200 to 300 pounds a year. That's crazy good. I heard that this would make a member of the middle class on land. If we find the Sunken Laurel, all of us will become tycoons. According to our ranks, we would get different days off every month, but they can be accumulated together and done in a staggered fashion. Dog shit. Just the year before, we missed a good chance of finding the Spectre Empire because the captain was on holiday. Pirates have annual leaves? He could only feel the pirate crew's comedic intensity from the man's description, reminding him of the humorous Somali pirate recruitment advertisements he had seen in his previous life. Somali pirate recruitment ads? Is that a thing? Seeing that Klein appeared to be shocked, the man added, as an adventurer, you're still chasing after the power that transcended nature as told in legends. As long as you join us, you'll have a chance to possess them. Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. Vice Admiral Iceberg Edwina Edwards, subordinate, 4th boatswain of the Golden Dream, Blazing Danets. This motherfucker's title is a fucking sentence. And he's a Vice Admiral's subordinate? Klein right now is as strong as a Vice Admiral. What are you hassling him for, bro? Actually, Klein is literally right up there with where the Rear Admiral was, right? Hold on. Was the Rear Admiral sequence... he was Wind Blast, right? He was a sequence 6? Am I remembering this right? Blazing Danitz. Who the fuck is this guy? After reporting his title, real name, and identity, Danitz waited for the look of panic to appear on Klein's face. After a second, he heard the adventurer, who acted somewhat crazily, say in a low voice, "Blazing Danitz, with a bounty of 3,000 pounds? Vice Admirals are usually sequence 5 or 6 with an artifact equal to sequence 7. Yeah, so Klein is literally as strong as a sequence... as a Rear Admiral right now, then. Or a Vice... I assume Vice Admiral and Rear Admirals are relatively interchangeable in terms of their strength, because Kilongos was a sequence 6, yeah. So that's right up there with a Vice Admiral. So Klein is as strong as a Vice Admiral or Rear Admiral right now. He's as strong as your boss, motherfucker. What do you... Dude, can Klein just turn this guy in and get 3,000 pounds and be on his fucking way? Because Klein would beat his ass. Especially with Creeping Hunger right now. But he had Creeping Hunger, made him as strong as a 5. But that's probably the case with Klein too, right? And Klein, especially with all his bullshit hacks, is stronger than the Rear Ad. Like in a alternate universe, if I was to give current Klein, Gearman Sparrow with Creeping Hunger versus the Rear Admiral with Creeping Hunger as well, with prep time, Klein wins easy. Even without prep time, assuming Klein has like a couple of his artifacts on him besides Creeping Hunger, I'd still probably give it to Klein. So, all that being said, it's so funny to imagine that Klein, after all this work, would get dog-walked by Azek the same way the Rear Admiral did. Like, I still remember reading the fight with... I'm not even going to call it a fight. The altercation that Kilongos had with Azek. And I was like, oh my god, it's going to be a great fight. And then he fucking died in like 4 seconds. The fight was like... Azek's messenger comes out. The Rear Admiral manages to kill him. And then 4,000 more come out. And we see the Rear Admiral's body collapsing away. Danitz was about to reply when he heard the illusion, that the man standing in the alley turned into an indescribable hungry monster salivating over his soul and flesh. He clenched his fist, his body no longer as relaxed as it was before. His intuition told him that he was facing an abyss filled with madness and bloodlust. In this state, Danitz had no idea how much time had passed until the other party spoke again. Why are you here? I'm on vacation. Danitz Danitz's dignity made him scorn to answer this question, but his instinct made him spit out the reason. By the way, the music isn't too loud, right? You guys can hear me okay? I felt like that was really loud, so I'm going to turn it down. I don't know if that's true, but it felt really loud to me. Aurora Order is so filled with madness, even the artifact left behind by it is a abyss of literally. As soon as he finished speaking, he felt the man retract his gaze. The hunger to gnaw on his flesh and soul disappeared. He stood where he was and watched as the young adventurer in a black coat turned around and walked to the other end of the alley. He stopped and asked, Where's the white shark? He lives at 1 Seawall Avenue, but he spends most of his time on the second floor of the Flying Fish and Wine. It's no different today. It's raining heavily right now, so I can't even hear it. Oh, okay. Only when the terrifying figure disappeared into silence did Dennett straighten his back. What a terrifying fellow. I have to inform the captain that there's another terrifying person at sea. This is a guy who looks like a gentleman on the outside but has a heart like a lunatic. If one doesn't have the determination and confidence to kill him, it's best not to deal with him. Even if you have the determination to kill him, you're probably still fucked. Dennett pulled up his black coat's hood and decided to return to the hotel for some sleep. He planned to wait until the telegraph office opened in the morning to relay the message to his middleman in the Rorstad archipelago. As for what would happen to White Shark, he didn't care. In the middle of another quiet street, Klein stood in the shadow, looking down at the black glove on his left hand. He found that although creeping hunger had been sealed by Mr. Azek, its thirst for flesh and soul still intrinsically existed and was trying to manifest itself. I'm so curious how Azek sealed this thing, because basically all Azek did was just make this a much better artifact, because the powers of the artifact are exactly the same, but he just took the negative side of, like, you have to kill a person every other day to you only need to kill someone when you use it. That is such a huge improvement. Like, how the fuck did Azek do that? Under normal circumstances, Klein wouldn't worry that the sealed item would produce any problems, but when he had the urge to kill someone, the corresponding influence he would receive was enough to let that hunger, which could lash back at him, emanate. Earlier, when he heard that Dennett was a famous pirate on the bounty list, killing intent instantly rose inwardly out of his yearning desire, causing creeping hunger to become active. Fortunately, Klein always had good self-control in this aspect. From his words, he was able to judge that he wasn't a pirate who was riddled with sin, so he restrained himself. With creeping hunger, Gehrman Sparrow's persona will be flawless. Klein took out a coin and performed 2 divinations. First, if Dennett was lying. Second, if the White Shark was able to cause harm to him. The first revelation was there was no need for Dennett to lie. Second was that White Shark Hamilton was unable to cause harm to him. That's crazy. Unable to cause harm. Like, as in, Klein could go in there buck-ass naked without the creeping hunger, without prep time, drunk off his ass, and it wouldn't even matter. That's crazy. Klein put away the coin, pressed down his hat, and while doing so, he swept his palm down and touched his face, and he immediately changed into blonde hair, blue eyes, and ordinary face. Then Klein unbuttoned his overcoat, pulled up his inner shirt so that it was no longer stuffed into his trousers. It was a simple attire change. Klein, who didn't carry a cane, began sweating. His lips were dry as he identified the direction and headed back to the bar. On the way, he met Dennett again. The man only glanced at him before withdrawing his gaze and heading for the hotel. After inspecting the bounty wall, Klein calmly reached out his hand, pushed open the door, and walked in. In the bar, most of the customers had dispersed, but there were still a few drunkards to watch the show. Their eyes swept across the new guest, but they all withdrew it immediately, and Klein made his way to the bar counter. He saw the bartender standing with frightened eyes beside a fat man. His forehead heavily bandaged with white bandages, his nostrils stuffed with tissue paper, and his face all bruised. The fatty was tall and big. His skin was fair, and he looked like a big white shark. He touched his shiny bald head and said to Alan, who's wearing a dark red jacket, "Someone told me that you know that guy? There's only 3 passenger ships that dock today, so there won't be many unfamiliar outsiders. Don't try to lie." Alan said, "Yes, he's my passenger, but the problem today clearly stemmed from your people. So I just want him to come back here, apologize to me, and compensate me for the damages done to the bar," the fatty said. Alan laughed. "White shark, I have a proverb. Don't hate wild dogs that pass by just because of the rats in the storehouse." Just Ellen. Is this your answer? Hamilton said. Yes, that is my answer. The captain sure has a way of doing things. Klein was slightly surprised. They stared at each other for a little while before the white shark took a deep breath. You've helped me before, so I don't need an apology. However, he must compensate half of my losses, and you will be the one to pass them on. Good suggestion, Ellen said. White Shark's face darkened as he looked around. He threw out his hand, slapping the bartender in the face. The bartender flew out, all his teeth dropping to the floor. Okay, so the bartender literally can never eat again. He's drinking soup for the rest of his life. He's probably like 40 years old. He's got like 30 years of just eating nothing but soup at this point. Klein quietly watched from 5 meters away, as if none of this had anything to do with him. Porridge for life, literally. Dude, you know one of the things that frustrates me? I really wish humans had an ability to grow a third set of teeth in life. Like, imagine how fucking dope it would be when you're like, I don't know, 40 or 50 or something. You get a new set of brand new teeth. You get a brand new set of teeth. Like, imagine how much more impunity you could live life with that freedom. That would be crazy good. And it's not like our bodies are incapable. It's like we grow a second set of teeth. We could do a third. It's just our bodies are like, nah, we'll just give up that power once we turn like 12 or whatever. Like, why? Bro. Like, you could just eat whatever. You don't have to worry about like flossing all the time, or like, oh my god, my teeth are rotting if I eat too much sugar. Like, bro, fuck it, whatever. Just eat whatever you want. By the time you start getting fucked, by the time your teeth start really getting fucked, you'll just be like, you'll just get new. I'm not saying I want to be part shark. Okay, motherfucker, that's like saying, oh, we have two sets of, we get baby teeth and adult teeth. Oh, we're part shark. No, that's just like a thing we do. I'm just saying, like, hold on. What I'm saying is humans currently do this, okay? You get a set of teeth and then you get a set of adult teeth. All I'm saying is, like, if we could get not even this actually, if we could just get a second set of adult teeth, it's a straight road. I'm just saying, give me these teeth that you made again. I'm not telling you to give me a better set of fucking, titanium teeth or some bullshit. I'm just saying, give me the same teeth you made, okay? And you guys are basically acting like I'm saying, like, okay, humans do this, and then humans do this, and then I'm saying, like, oh, do all this. Motherfucker, that's not what I'm asking. Just do a thing you already know how to do. Toddler jaw x-ray? Alright. But if this gets me banned off of YouTube, I'm going to be really mad, Dr. Z. I don't think they'll fit. What the fuck do you mean? Oh, God. Oh, God. Is this true? What the fuck website did it just pull me into? What the fuck website is this? That is horrifying. Adult teeth are under baby teeth? That's crazy. Do you still want a third set? If we can somehow fit them in, yes, I still want them in principle. Like, oh, wait, hold on. Let me cook. No, I'm not, no, hold on. Okay, wait, hold on. I'm not, okay. So let's say this is let's say this is your face, right? This is your face, okay? I'm not saying baby teeth, adult teeth, because, you need some space for your fucking brain, right? I get that. I understand. No problem. What I am saying is, okay, that's too big. What I'm saying is face, baby teeth, adult teeth. Once the baby teeth fall out, then adult teeth, second set of adult teeth. Let me cook. Same amount of space. Same amount of space. Okay? It's just, I'm not saying you have them all at the same time. I'm just saying, like, just do it later. Cooking. No? And better yet, I will even make you a deal. Get rid of wisdom teeth. They take up so much. Get rid of 8 teeth. Because you have 4 wisdom teeth times 2. Okay, get rid of them. 8 teeth. Okay, dope. That should give you enough space to get me a second set of teeth for when I'm like 40 or 50. Bang. Now you can eat ice cream and go to bed without brushing your teeth with impunity. Not have to worry if you're going to have teeth when you're 80. Checkmate. So like a shark. How is that like a shark? What? Okay, hold on. Sorry. There is research on a new drug to grow a third set of teeth. It shows promise, still in testing. No, that's cool. Third set under adult teeth. It's being developed in Japan. That's literally how sharks do their teeth, kind of. Not possible. Body can't make the nerve and blood vessels inside the teeth after you're born. Even making the outer shell will be extraordinarily painful. As the saying goes, Dr. Z, I am built different. Okay, I would take the pain with ease. Okay, I need to go to bed. Okay, sorry. Let's keep going. Let's keep reading. Sharks develop their teeth continuously through life, hence the shark comment. Oh. Yeah, but I'm not saying continuously. I'm not saying like once you break your third set of teeth playing baseball and you catch the fucking ball with your teeth, you grow a fourth set. I'm not saying continuously. I'm saying instead of 2, make it 3. Like, I feel like you're pushing it to the... You're saying, like... Your argument is like there's a philosophical name for this. It's like, I can't remember. But it's like, just because I can't tell you exactly where the cutoff point between 2 things is, doesn't mean they're one and the same. Like, conceptually, I can't tell you exactly when a seed stops being a seed and starts becoming a tree, but that doesn't mean a seed is a fucking tree, you know? So, like, I don't know how many set of teeth you would need to make to call it shark-like, but I know it ain't 3. Straw man? Okay, no, not a straw man, but I appreciate... No, there's a name for this. I can't remember. It's kind of like a version of Nirvana fallacy, I guess. Not cool. There's an actual name for this. I can't remember what it is. Okay, whatever. I have to go. I have to go. I have to read. Okay. The bartender fell to the ground, writhing in pain. White Shark Hamilton snorted and didn't say anything. He turned around and walked towards the second floor, stepping on the creaking wooden stairs. Dude, Cuttlefish is so mean. He doesn't just say White Shark is a fatty 4 times. He says he's a fatty, and then he's walking, and the wooden stairs are creaking under his fat ass. Like, Jesus Christ, why is he like this? After the excitement was over, the drunkards dispersed one by one, unaffected. Captain and the others returned upstairs to play cards. Klein took the opportunity to follow. He returned to the bar, not to deal with the white shark who didn't pose any threat to him, but rather simply to get more information from the owner. He was connected to many pirate factions after all. He had named his new identity Gearman, which secretly implied hunting pirates whose hands were stained with blood. He planned He planned on using their soul's flesh and beyonder characteristics to replace the souls in creeping hunger. There was no gas in Demir Harbor, and the corridor on the second floor was relatively dark. The brass candle stands were inlaid into each wall, flickered and dimmed. Klein observed the surroundings as he wiped his face, silently transforming into one of the bouncers on the first floor. He used illusion creation to compensate for his mismatched attire. After finishing his preparation, he walked towards the room that his spiritual intuition identified as belonging to the White Shark. He passed the card room, but didn't attract anyone's attention. He stopped in front of the bouncers who were guarding the corridor and said, "There's something going on downstairs again." "Holy Lord of Storm, what the hell is happening tonight?" a bouncer sighed. "I hope those beautiful people don't get hurt," another guard said worriedly. He was referring to the whores who got their business in their bar. Oh, that makes sense. "They're fine." Klein stepped past the bouncers and knocked on the Shark's door. "Who is it?" Hamilton asked. "Boss, it's me. Something happened again downstairs." "God damn it," Hamilton bellowed. "Come in. Tell me what happened." Klein turned the doorknob and walked in. When he closed the door, he dispelled the illusion, and the muscles on his face rapidly changed to his previous identity. Blonde hair, blue eyes, and ordinary facial features. "You!" Hamilton was stunned. Hamilton was too stunned to speak. At the same time, many illusory fish scales surfaced on the back of his hand, his originally large and fat body burgeoning. Suddenly, his heart began to beat faster, and a strong instinctive fear seized him by the throat. At this moment, he felt that the stranger in the door was a demon who had been starving for many days, repeatedly examining his flesh and soul. All of a sudden, White Shark Hamilton was gripped by extreme panic. Klein slowly walked to the sofa and sat down. "Now can we talk?" The feeling of being stared at by a horrifying monster suddenly disappeared, and Hamilton relaxed as his body shriveled. He didn't rashly cry out for help, and instead said, "Who are you? What do you want?" "A hunter. I've heard that you're connected to a number of pirate factions. I would like to know their respective situations." "No, I'm not." A White Shark Hamilton subconsciously denied. He immediately felt the extreme hunger again. Klein inwardly deliberated and said, "You have two choices. One is to answer frankly. The other is to be killed by me, and then answer honestly." Killing to channel my spirit? Hamilton had heard of similar rumors and asked, "Why do you want to know?" "I'm a hunter, so I'm chasing after bounties." Are you mad? I've seen similar adventures, but all of them are buried." "It's not hard to kill a lone pirate, but can you defend against the further retaliation? The whores in the bars or the seemingly ordinary customers might all be pirate informants. Your friendly accomplice could be bribed at any moment and he'll be shot in the back. The pirates will gather information in advance and surround your ship. Can you protect all the passengers? Can you survive a cannon bombardment on the sea when there's no room to run? How are you going to survive?" "Just have them killed. Then there won't be such a problem." Dude, I love this. Oh my god, Gehrman is my favorite. A true madman, Hamilton took a deep breath and said, I'm in contact with many pirates, but it's a passive relationship. They need to sell cash, jewelry, and goods in exchange for alcohol, food, fresh water, and weapons, and that happens through me, but I can only wait for them here. I don't know when their ships pass or where they're going." "What else?" Klein said. His reply just now was mainly to scare White Shark. As for having revenge sought on him, he wasn't worried. As a faceless, he might as well find a place to drown himself at the bottom of the sea if they could find him so easily. He's literally saying, like, if they can find me, it's my own fucking fault at this point. Finally, Hamilton shifted his gaze and placed his hand on the desk in frustration. Yes, I'm still gathering information for them. If there's urgent information, I'll use the radio transceiver they gave me to alert them. Radio transceiver. That's what they call it when speaking to me. It's like a telegram, but it doesn't need a wire. A wireless telegraph? The pirates have such advanced technology. He previously thought of inventing something like this, but when he flipped through the relevant magazines, he realized that they already long since appeared, but they hadn't found their place in the commercial world. The Berserk Sea, which separated the north and southern continent, with its constant thunder and lightning, the chaotic magnetic field and the violent storms made only a few sea routes accessible. Even if one was equipped with a wireless telegraph, they were basically useless. Similarly, the weather in the Fog Sea and the Sonia Sea changed so drastically, and there were a number of factors that affected electromagnetic transmission. Could it be that there's an enhanced model that can solve those problems? Klein watched as the White Shark pried open the floor plank in front of the safe and twisted a mechanism to reveal a secret door. Behind the secret door was a hidden cabinet with 3 levels. On the top was some document and bills, a revolver, a type of half-arm gun, and other weapons, while on the bottom was complicated black machinery. That's what they call it. It's a radio transceiver. The news it transmits can be received by similar items as far as the Rorstad archipelago. Any further and it'll depend on the weather and one's luck. Usually it's pretty troublesome and limited. Hamilton didn't know much about the machines, and he was basically guessing based on his experiences. It's better than the new radio transceivers that are now being commercialized. I wonder who made it. Who are they? I wonder who made it. I actually probably can guess this. Turani von Helmussen. Muisen, probably. This person. That was a name I came across in my notes a while back. Who are they? Klein asked. Silver Coin Viper Oder, who claims to serve the Order of Dawn, as well as the intelligence officer of the Admiral of Blood, Old Quinn. They appeared together, and I can't be certain if they're working together. Of course, Oder has only made claims. The owner of Dawn? That Queen Mystic? Queen Mystic? Owner of Dawn? What the fuck? Who's that? The gold coin kept... Klein looked away. A gold coin appeared in his hand. The gold coin kept weaving between his fingers before finally leaping into the air and landing. It left White Shark puzzled as he trembled in fear. Who gave you the... Lowering his head to take a glance, Klein stood up. At this moment he asked, "Who gave you the potion?" Old Quinn, Hamilton hesitated. Klein nodded and no longer asked. He turned and walked towards the door. The door opened and closed. The figure wearing a black coat disappeared from the White Shark's room. Hamilton held his breath, waiting for more than 10 seconds, and finally let out a long sigh. She's one of the 4 kings? Okay. He wiped the sweat from his face, placed the radio transceiver on the desk, and hurriedly set it to the distance. Just like, oh, I see, okay. I was targeted by an unfamiliar fellow. Beside the completely engrossed Hamilton, Klein, who had his hands in his pocket, as he quietly watched, taking in the frequency and spectrum and passcodes. His departure just now was a large-scale magic show, enough to deal with low-sequence beyonders like White Shark's Sailor Pathway. As for the question of whether or not he would be able to remember the details, a seer didn't need to worry. Admiral of Blood and his men enjoy killing and love blood. They're passionate about enacting violence against women. Every time they rob a passenger ship, they always cause a tragedy. This is public information, known by everyone, and they're even proud of it. The target of the hunt and the risks involved. I'll give priority to them. Klein thought for a moment and then prepared to leave the room while Hamilton tidied and put away the receiver. He didn't plan on dealing with the White Shark for the time being, as he was afraid of disturbing the real prey. Anyway, this kind of fellow who was on land with a fixed territory could easily be dealt with at any point. Klein's soundless footsteps caused the door to slowly open and quietly close, bringing in a cool breeze. Yay, we're officially onto the 500s now. I am 1/3 of the way through. It only took 2 months. Jesus Christ. I'm just going to quickly check if there's any art. I don't know if there is or not, but I will just quickly check. Okay, I don't think there's any art right now, so we'll leave it there. Alright, dope. Yay! Alright. Okay. So I should, again, hopefully feel a little bit better still tomorrow. If that's the case, then we'll have another morning stream, and then we'll go forward from there. What? Are you not gonna... Wait, hold on. What are you talking about? You're not gonna read... Oh, no. I'm gonna read Circle of... I don't know what the I stands for. I can't remember. Inevitability? Inevitability, I think. I'm gonna read COI eventually, Dr. Z. I just... I'm gonna take a break between finishing Lord of the Mysteries and reading COI. I do eventually plan on it. I don't like leaving stuff midway. And if there's 2 books, finishing one and leaving the other is leaving it midway. So I don't like that. I am gonna get to it, but I'm gonna read a couple of stuff in between, broaden my horizon, so to speak, and then we'll get back to it. Yeah, that's it. Thank you everyone for popping by. Hope you have a great rest of your day or night, and I hope to see you again tomorrow for the weekend, or not the weekend for some of you, Dr. Z. That's it, everyone. Thank you so much. Love y'all.